And welcome back to episode 73 of the Unpaid and Underrated podcast. We are a podcast by crew for crew. I'm one of your hosts, Big Keith, and I'm joined as always by my favorite co-host here, Big Joey.
Your favorite? Aw,
So far, I
thanks.
mean, Kevin is a close second. I mean, he's right there, but you know, I'm a creature of habit. That you've been here for 99.9% of them. You edge him out. And we also are joined by our special crew guest this week, Big Jack and Ginger himself, Big Ryan.
Howdy, how are you guys doing?
Wonderful, my friend. Well, Ryan, what are you drinking this week, buddy? Let's just dive right in.
I am drinking some sort of, I'm guessing a grocery store brand. It's called Simple Truth Organic Seltzer Water, a tangerine lemongrass.
Ooh. Now, is it more tangerine or is it more lemongrass, so you would say?
Definitely tangerine. It's very essenced. It's not
Well,
super
you don't
intense.
you don't want heavy lemongrass. You can't go
I
too
couldn't
heavy
imagine.
on the lemongrass,
It's
right?
true. This is true.
I don't know what I'm talking about. Lemongrass is
I'm not sure what lemongrass even tastes like.
it
Is it?
honestly it tastes like if you rolled a lemon in grass and ate it. Like it's
That sounds bad.
no, it's delicious as shit,
Okay.
but you definitely don't want to go too far into the lemongrass realm.
It makes sense for a seltzer because it's very essence and
Yeah.
lemongrass is a lemon essenced, ingredient.
It's literally lemon essence to grass.
So, I got a pretty good one this week. I don't think I've had it yet on the podcast. It's Wegmans sparkling water, watermelon flavor, and it's really good. It literally just tastes like kind of like just watered down watermelon, like the watermelon juice that's left if you have it like in the bottom of a bowl or something. So it's pretty tasty. I'm a fan. I give it a 3.75.
Okay, so like, what's better then, fake watermelon or real watermelon flavor?
Mm.
Like watermelon Jolly Ranchers versus like an actual
Oh,
watermelon.
Watermelon, I think, but this is good because it's got the carbonate. Like whereas the watermelon's like almost flat, if you will, whereas this is like spiked carbonated. So, ironically, I've been like my wife's been buying watermelon maybe like once every 2 weeks or so, just like some pre-cut up stuff. We're paying way too much for it, but it's like just it's healthy-ish for you. So I'm like, wait, it is kind of weird. Like the same day, I'll have like one of these, and then I'll eat some watermelon, and I kind of do have to go like, which one is? They're both good, but this is more refreshing almost because I never have the risk of this being over soft like a watermelon might be if it's kind of like sitting in the fridge a little bit too long. So
yeah, I'm definitely a watermelon, like the actual fruit. Like the watermelon flavor doesn't do it for me.
See, I actually like both, and for different reasons. That's interesting. I have something new. So the store that I go to buy my Ghost Energy drinks and pay way too much for them, they tend to import from all over the world. So I have something from Korea. I think it's from Korea. I honestly don't know. This could be wrong, but the label honestly has one, two, three, four, five, six, seven languages on it,
hmm.
and the last one is English. Um, yeah, it says
Now,
serve cold. Go ahead.
are any of those languages ones that you wish you had learned, or one to harken back to one of our questions
Yeah.
back in the day?
So Drankmet Stukjes ko Skolgeldal, Citroenen, Mundsmach, Suker on Zoesteffen. Then you have Bevanda and El Colchica con Pezet. So that's Spanish. Bosson au fruit plate, which is French. Anyway, so this is a Mentos drink. This is called a non-sparkling Mentos lemon and mint with jelly bites.
That doesn't sound good.
No, so they had three
like the
flavors.
breath mint company Mentos. Like
Yeah, and
okay,
I love Mentos. I love Mentos. I love soft mints. The black licorice ones they have are fantastic. So I saw these and I bought three of them, and I had an apple flavor, a berry flavor, and then I saved the lemon and mint because I figured it's going to be the best one for today. But I will warn you, there's literal gel. Do you remember Orbits back in
hmm
yeah,
hmm.
how it had those
Yeah, the
floating jelly?
yeah.
Yep. It has those, but bigger and grosser. So every once in a while, like you can't drink this, you have to sip it, or you get a mouthful of boogers.
Ew. That's interesting.
So anyway, we're gonna try this on camera. Oh,
Yeah. Let's all listen to Jody, suck on some boogers.
That was a healthy crack. That last crack
Yeah.
though in the first can wasn't that great.
Yeah, citrus and mint don't sound like a winning
Oh,
combo,
to
but
me
we'll
it
see.
does, and it smells fantastic.
Okay.
Except for the boogers, that's amazing. Like absolutely, that's incredible. That is exactly as it's supposed to taste. Mentos knows what they're doing, man. One fun thing about this though, um, trying to read it here because again, there's almost no English. Um, there's no salt. There's no sugar. No, there's 4 grams of sugar. So this is a pretty decent macro.
Is it
Pretty.
booger sugar?
It is booger sugar.
So as far as Mentos, do you guys think I think I've seen more Mentos commercials in my life than I've ever consumed a Mentos. Like
Really?
I just remember those being like very popular, overran commercials. And they were
Well, because they had the stupid song.
and they're yeah, I remember the
Fresh
song
goes
pretty well.
better, Mentos goes with freshness. Yeah, and then they'd have like this.
But I feel like that was around for like 30 years straight too. They had the exact same kind of like theme, which is good because I like when brands like keep almost identical commercials and just kind of like or keep like the same like theme music or something. Like I miss the Taco Bell like little dog guy. Like that's been probably 20 years since that's been a thing, but like I still associate that with Taco Bell just because it was like but I don't really watch live TV or like, consume a ton of commercials. Well, I guess I mean all the half the apps we watch have commercials if you have the cheaper app or the cheaper versions of them. But like,
Mhm. Oh yeah.
I just zone out when those are on, and usually they're just commercials promoting themselves half the time anyway. So like, I just think like the stereotypical TV commercials we all grew up watching are like, I don't know, they're just not really a thing anymore.
Shit, even with the commercials, like Super Bowl commercials lately, just been, not great. Not like they were back in the early, like to late 2000s. Just not funny anymore. It's just all just, they don't have the same pizzazz. Which, Joey, I don't know, how much you've seen like Super Bowl commercials and whatnot, but they used to be like, actual fanfare. Like it was almost as good as the actual game itself.
I I do. I used to pay attention to those
Hmm.
because somebody who studied public relations and marketing, it was always of note to me. But I think the major mistake we're running into now is they all get leaked the day before on the internet.
Mm. Yeah.
So the brands
Yeah.
leak them, and then you've already seen it, so there's no reason to watch the Super Bowl for them. Now, up in Canada, half the time they replace them with our commercials because they're products that aren't sold in
Hmm.
Canada. So
Mm. Do you think they pay a obnoxious premium as well up there for that?
probably, yeah, okay. Authorized exporter, South Korea. Yep, it's coming from the non crazy Korea.
Yeah, I don't know if I would trust North a can from North Korea just yet. Not with all the when I not to get political with it, we don't do that here, but yeah, I don't know.
Is this uranium?
No, one of my good buddies, he and his wife are actually living in Korea right now.
South Korea,
And
probably.
yeah, South Korea. let
Likely.
me let me let me go ahead and clarify South Korea. But yeah, they've been there for about a year and a half now. They love it. It's everyone speaks English over there, and they just have a great old time.
Hell yeah.
Some really yeah, it's cool.
I worked with a kid that ended up like quitting working here to go be like an English translator or like teach English to people over there, whatever what's the term for that?
An,
News translate?
an English teacher?
Well, but yeah, but like the language of English, not like not
It's
he's
still the
not
same.
saying
Right.
like fucking
It's
well,
got to
no,
be the
because like
same thing. It's got to be
yeah,
the
but
I
same
like
think
thing.
an English teacher teaches like book reports and shit. I don't think he's doing that, but regardless,
No, an English, like capital E English teacher teaches like book reports and shit. But like somebody who's teaching the actual language of English is still just teaching English.
so he's been doing I think he did that for several years and like met like his wife did the same thing too and they met over there. They seem to be happy. I think they're actually still there, honestly.
Hell yeah.
yeah, I think that's pretty much what he was doing. And he's actually one of the ones y'all reached out to for some of my questions. So yeah,
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. One of your buddies did say he was in Korea. I did remember that. So we're gonna move into what's everyone wearing. And I'm just gonna point out that I really like what Big Jack and Ginger's wearing. It's you want to tell the world what you're wearing there?
This is I honestly forgot I had this shirt until like maybe 2 weeks ago. Going through my closet. But yeah, this is the white shirt, bench heavy shirt with the blue logo. It's
Mm.
I don't even remember when I got this. It was probably 2 to 3 years ago.
Yeah, I don't remember that. Like I don't think it's been a live shirt since I've like been in the world, or at least like
Mhm.
if it was, it was maybe short lived. Maybe I just completely like wasn't paying attention to drops at that time. Maybe I'm not sure. But I'm rocking the new PBR, the new gray PBR shirt on Tanner's new blank that I I I did get the 2X. I've been like most of my all my XLs from the last like batch of like the last several batches of blanks have been a little too tight. I can't really wear them anymore, so I've bumped up to 2Xs on the last like 4 or 5 shirts. I think he did warn us that this one would be a little big, but I didn't want to downsize, so I stuck with 2X. And I almost feel like I need like a 1.5X because I think a 1X like would be a little too snug, and a 2X is just a hair too loose. So I don't know what to recommend to people to buy if like because it's maybe downsize, but because if you upsize, it will be a little baggy. But I mean, it's a good looking shirt. It's comfortable. And it's just a hair bigger than I'd like it to be.
I got that one in the other day. I almost wore it tonight, but I was like, you know what? Let me wear something that probably hasn't been seen in a while.
Yep.
I got the Schmedium shirt on right now.
I like when people pull out shirts we don't have.
Yes. I've got the weight is a number, heavy is a feeling, actually. We went to meet the parents or meet the teacher night or whatever. And this one got noticed. A couple people stopped and was like,
Nice.
nice shirt. That was pretty funny. Although I don't look like I lift because I'm just fat, right? But like it is pretty funny. Yeah, I just speaking of blanks, just bring back the huge life blank. Just bring back that blank. That's the good one.
I'm curious if this is, I mean, because this one's sized like that, but I think, because my huge life, I still have as an XL and it fits kind of perfect. So maybe
Yep.
this is the same huge life blank and I should have just got the XL, but I don't know. I still think an XL in this would just be a little smaller than what I need, but I don't know. But Tanner did his best. He did actually put out some videos. Like we busted his balls to the point that like he really did like a good thorough. Like this is a 2X on a guy that's like 6'8", 190 pounds, and it looked like it fit him pretty well.
Oh, I was just going to ask. I forget. Does for the huge life shirt was that like on that blank any other shirts themselves, or was it just the huge
Just
life?
it
Because I
was
don't
just the
remember.
huge life.
Okay,
I don't think they've ever used that one. And that's the
because I
original
never
one
got
too.
that shirt. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was the one that it's like I feel bad. I don't buy a lot of their new shirts, but when they re-release the old ones, I'm like the first to get those because I've been pushing for the Massenomics' Numero Uno and the Huge Life. It's like those are the things I wish I had, and then they released them, and I got them.
Nice.
I finally caved in and bought some large shirts. I can't keep doing this, so I just bought some large shirts. But it's just nice to have some oversized stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like just you can't always go around looking like you bought clothes too small on purpose.
No, I just actually bought some. So my gym was doing a limited run on like acid wash and like tie dye shirts. So I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and get one. They only had like XL and like double XL, and they had one double XL. So I was like, this is gonna swallow me. And I put it on. I was like, oh god, I don't know what to do. And then I finally just started wearing it around. I was like, this is actually pretty comfortable. Like I enjoy this. Like it's
Yeah,
I don't. I feel like people won't be like, "Oh, that guy's wearing a tight shirt." Oh, but
yeah. We're
yeah,
gonna
no, it's
have
a
it.
shirt that
You get that in the kids section. Yeah,
exactly.
you see a lot of bodybuilders wear oversized shirts too, right? For that reason, just because like, shut up, leave me alone. So
Yep.
we'll see if the larges I got in, see if they're any good.
Speaking of bodybuilders, anyone get a chance to watch Mike's T's gym tour that hit today a few hours ago? I'm sure. I know Joey didn't, but did you have a chance to watch that? Right? Nice,
Just watched it like 30 minutes ago.
nice. Yeah, I think I what'd you think of it?
I mean, anything with Mike Israetel, I'm gonna enjoy. Like he's a one very smart, very funny guy, and I was laughing completely throughout the video. Very good.
Yeah, he had some funny lines. I liked when he was. I honestly couldn't tell if he was joking or not. I think he was telling the truth, but he had a lap pullover machine, uh,
Mhm.
and he said that he's literally too wide for it. I was like, oh, this must be a nice problem to have. You're like too wide for your lap pullover machine. One thing that he said a couple of things that really stuck out to me that I chuckled at, but I think the one was they pointed to a deadlift jack, and I think everyone calls it a deadlift jack. I've never heard of called
Hmm.
anything other than a deadlift jack, and he called it a deadlift unloader. And I just like
Yeah.
that just stuck with me, and I laughed hysterically. And then there was a chalk bowl. I think everyone calls it a chalk bowl, like even if it's a
Hmm.
bucket or a bag. Like I think everyone and I think he did call it a chalk bucket. Or no, was it a chalk? Was it a chalk bucket? It wasn't a chalk bowl, whatever the fuck he said. I can't remember exactly what he said, but I was just like, oh, that's a chalk bowl, but you called it a chalk bucket or something. And I was just like, it's such a irrelevant thing. It just stuck out to me as being amusing. So, but I really enjoyed the gym tour. I didn't it obviously you can tell the difference between a bodybuilder and a power lifter of some sort, which in terms of a power lifter is I'm completely in love with infatuated with barbells. And he was like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about my barbells. I'm like really particular about my machines, but he didn't give a fuck about his barbells, and he just kind of laughed about people having an opinion about barbells. And it's just
Hmm.
like I could give a shit less about the machines that I would ever use, but yeah, I want my barbells to be exactly what I want my barbells to be. So
The stupidest videos on the internet are people showing their lat pull downs. And it's like I get, maybe it's just not for me, and I understand that, but like, you just get this picture of somebody it's just from behind, and they're just doing these fucking basic like lat pull downs at like no weight, or even if they are doing heavy weights, it's like nobody cares, man. Like, sorry, but like it's not a fun looking lift. It's not an attractive lift. If you're wearing a shirt, we're not seeing you flex. Like, so I'm with you on that one. I think that it's just not my world.
Whenever he was talking about the mag grips, I was like, man, he said he didn't like them. I found that very interesting because, like, I love the mag grips. I think they feel so good. Just they fit nicely in the hand and just let you get a good pull. I love them.
Yeah.
the couple times I've used them, I don't know, like I haven't had enough use. I've only ever used them in commercial gyms, like briefly, and
Hmm.
usually fighting some other fucking meathead to get the right one. And then there's like literally 9 different ones. So I'm sure like I think I'd have to have like the whole arsenal and like spend like a couple of weeks with them to find like which one
Hmm.
kind of fits my body and my width and like my angles of, so I don't know, but I wouldn't. But there's like the $100 Amazon knockoff ones that people are buying up left and right that say they feel just like them, but I don't put much stock in knockoff shit myself.
I have no clue what you're talking about. I haven't watched the video yet. I worked all day and then and then hit the gym, had a shitty workout, I had a nap because I was so exhausted.
I
Then we
don't
had
do that. Yeah,
then we
you got
had
to be
parent
tired to
teacher
take a
night.
nap.
Yeah, I walked in the house. I just bought some 35-pound dumbbells and I put them down on the floor and I was like, okay, I got to take those downstairs. And then I walked into the bedroom and was asleep in seconds.
And are the 35-pound dumbbells still on the floor, or did you actually take them downstairs?
No, my wife took them downstairs because
Oh
my
wow,
dad was like, "Oh,
impressive.
another trip hazard," and she was like, "You're right. He's asleep. I'm gonna take those downstairs." I feel bad because like I was like, "No, I got to get rid of those," but I couldn't keep my eyes open. Like I was out in seconds.
Curious if Morgan was able to carry them one at a, like both of them at the same time, like farmers carry them, or if she did like one at a time and had to like double fist it.
I'll find out. They're only
That's a good
30.
question.
They're only 35.
35 is a decent amount of weight
Yeah,
for
but my
like
kid
if
weighs 40,
yeah.
right? So like, yeah,
But can she carry two kids like that simultaneously? That's the question.
farmers carrying two
Because
toddlers.
it's double. Yeah, tune in next week to see if it was a suitcase carry or a farmer's carry.
Did you get some bubbles?
They're so delicious. Like the flavor is so delicious, and then just like the the jellies just like tickle you on the way down.
So they kind of disintegrate, or do you have to chew them?
Oh,
Yeah.
you chew them. I'm not chewing these. I'm just swallowing them whole.
Okay, so you're just taking them down. Okay.
Yeah, it genuinely
Ugh,
it would be like chewing like embryos. Like I don't want to deal with this. Is the worst texture ever.
that's such a weird.
But the
Now
lemon
that
mint itself is so good.
This
I think
this
they'd be
kind of
able to still get
reminds me.
that flavor and strain that out. Like it's weird, and it has to contribute to the flavor like immensely because they keep something that foreign in there.
And anytime I get something with jellies or tapiocas or something, it's Korea. Like they just put shit in their drinks. It's weird. I should have seen that coming from the beginning.
Wasn't that like it's that like really popular drink? Was it
Bubble tea.
bobo or yeah?
Yeah, bobo, bubble tea.
I think I've had that once, and I was like, this ain't my jam. This is like eating a fucking loogie.
Yep, I'm against it. I ain't for it. I'm against it. I'm not a huge fan of these, but this is the last can. It'll
So
get done.
Well,
I'm assuming y'all have never had oyster shooters before?
No, that sounds like something Joey would drink, though.
No, I've had oysters. I love oysters to
But
an
an oyster
extent.
shooter.
What's an
You said
oyster shooter?
oysters. I'm assuming something with alcohol.
Down here in the South and all that, we have a lot of different seafood restaurants and whatnot, and they
Mhm.
each do some version of like an oyster shooter, and generally it's like in a shot glass, and you have like some sort of pepper vodka or regular vodka, then like cocktail sauce, and then an oyster in there, and then you take it like a shot, and then some people will either just swallow the oyster whole, some will chew it, and they like depending on where you go, it's really really good.
I usually chew my oysters, but
Mhm.
I'm very aware of how quickly oysters can go bad. So when you shuck them and they bring them out to your table, there is like not a ton of time in between you removing them and eating them and them going very bad. And I
Mhm.
distinctly remember I was going to a party one time and I was like, I'm going to bring oysters to this party. So I put a bunch of oysters in an ice tray and the worms swimming around in the ice tray after, because we were just throwing the shells back in there. I was
Mhm.
like, nope.
That's disgusting.
No. Well, I think they live on the shell or something. Like you can't, like, seafood in general is so gross and so full of just shit and microplastics and other seafoods. Like you're not eating a fish. You're eating everything that fish ever ate, right? And then
Damn if
so,
it's not delicious though.
oh no, I don't have like, yeah, I'm in, but like you got to be aware of that. Like if you eat an
Oh
oyster,
yeah.
you're eating some parasite in that oyster. Like you're not getting away with just oyster. There's no such thing unless they're farmed. And if they're farmed, you might get lucky that they kept the water clean, but like water attracts gross stuff. So either way, yeah, no, I've never had an oyster shooter. Probably won't, but we'll see. Like I'm not one to say no to fun stuff.
I mean, if you ever find yourself down this way, just ask me where to go.
Hell yeah, you're taking me.
Absolutely. We got plenty in Charleston to,
Because if I can drink this crap, I can drink an oyster shooter.
I mean, it's not much different. It's just, a little bigger loogie, basically,
Oh, jeez.
to put it lightly.
Speaking of another fishy loogie, how did everyone feel about last week's episode of the Massnomics podcast?
Why are you saying fishy loogie?
Oh, it was supposed to be a funny segue, but it really wasn't.
Oh, okay. I was like, did they say
No,
some?
no,
Did they
there was
say
literally
something about
there was
fish or
no
loogies?
context.
Okay.
There was no context to
Uh,
it other than just like let's just bust
I'm
their balls a little bit.
I'm just going through the whole episode, going, oh wait,
Nope,
there were things I
literally,
wanted to talk
nope,
about.
nope, nope. I struggle each week when I listen to so much because I listen to 90% of the lives outside of the ones that are going on when ours are going on. So it's hard for me to remember to distinguish the difference between the 45 minutes I listened to last night and then the 2.5 hours I listened to on Monday. So it's like, fuck.
That's why I don't
Okay.
listen live. Can't do it.
Yeah, but
That
it's so much, for me, it's so much more enjoyable to just like, I feel like I'm that much more invested in the crew when I'm
Yep.
like, when I get that 45 minutes and like, it's like, oh, I'm texting and they just responded to what I said. Like, that's just, I don't know. Like, I get
I
off on that. It's
I
fun.
understand that, but I also just like I need to limit.
yeah.
I personally need to limit the amount of people talking into my ears for the rest of my life. Like that is, I just need to limit that.
Yeah, so like become a podcast host and, every week with 3, 4 guys. Just
Interestingly, it was when I started hosting this one that I stopped listening live because that probably is just like me being sensory overload of humans talking to me.
Mhm.
It was funny that they brought up Robert Oberst being on the Righteous Gemstones
Mhm.
because I brought that up the day that episode aired. I was like, "Hey, check it out! I know this guy," and I thought it was really funny that I recognized somebody. And then we started talking about the Massonomics, um, like crossover to Righteous Gemstones, and I think it's funny that we're getting another person from that show on our podcast in the future. So we'll talk about that when it happens.
Yeah, whenever we get him on, he's an upcoming guest, so that should be a really good one when it happens.
Yeah.
And it was funny they did talk about I think it was Tommy that pointed it out because his wife was like was on last night's, but whatever, it's close enough. So, they were talking about. He's like, oh, this is the Massonomics to Jason because Overse was a podcast guest, and then she was like, wow, is everyone in Massonomics on this TV show?
So I do distinctly remember that part. Oh, and Tanner saying howdy at the beginning of it. I pointed that out in the Discord. So he's like, howdy, everybody. Welcome to. I was just like, like, I think I made that face with like the scrunched up, like, no, that's not.
I say howdy sometimes myself.
Well, but he doesn't.
No,
and
yeah,
then he
true.
did. And it's not that it was bad. It's just that my brain was like, what did he just say? Because it's like not the, it would be like if he said the podcast about nothing and didn't say nerfing, right?
Yeah, nerfing.
So I distinctly recall that as soon as he joined, I was like, I thought to myself, traveling's changed you, man. You saw too much of the world now, man. You're saying weird stuff. Anyway, 5 JDs for this episode.
That's a good rating. It's a good rating. I'll give a quick little recap what I thought. Overall, it was good. I always like when they just shoot the shit. You just kind of feel more invested. I believe that might have been the first time they mentioned the Crew Falls meetup, which would be really cool. We'll get into that a little bit later. I think my favorite part of the episode was right at the end when Tommy went to go do the outro music, and he hit the
intro.
He hit the intro music, and he was like, "Oops!" or what? He made some audible actual sound that didn't get edited out, and then they hit the outro, and I was like, "Oh, that's like just like the little small things." It's like, "Oh, they're just guys like us that just shit happens," and it was just funny that they left it in. I really enjoyed that. So for all those reasons, we'll go ahead and give it 5 out of 5 this week on the old JD scale.
Yeah, I thought the talk about them trying to find the bathroom and all that was really funny. That made me, really get some laughs in the car. And then talking about Robert Oberst, it was pretty cool because especially like when I first saw him, I was like, oh shit, like I didn't expect him to see him here, but then that made sense because on his Instagram stories, I'd see him at a local gym, and I didn't put 2 and 2 together at the time at all. But yeah, that was great. And then I will say they didn't have any Sam Sulek talk that I remember. So that's, puts a damper on things. So with that, I'm going to have to give it 5 JDs.
All right, good score. I feel like the bathroom thing could have been out of like Harold and Kumar. With them just like trying different bathrooms and then finally getting to Elite FTS and being like, score, and like high-fiving that they found like the best bathroom in the city. That would have been funny content if they'd first saw that coming.
Yeah, that really like kind of that really spoke to me as a guy that like works out of a van and has to, basically shit on the road every single day of the week. It's like I don't have the luxury of having a consistent place to go to the bathroom in the morning. So that's very much spoke to me.
It's so weird because like I have like me, like I have medical things where I just use the bathroom a lot. And so like I've just resigned to the fact that sometimes you're going to use gross bathrooms. Otherwise, you got to bring like change of pants. So it's interesting that I have friends that are like, no, I can only go at home. And I'm like, how does your life work? Like, how do you exist?
See, I'm kind of that way. Like, at least I was, until I switched shifts, and now like kind of rearranging my schedule, to put it nicely. But I'm definitely an at-home, pooper.
Oh, I can't imagine doing an 8-hour shift and not being able to go. I'll go like 3 times during an 8-hour shift, and they're all like fucking photo finishes. Like I can't imagine. Like I'm like, oh, you're Paul Floss in it. Yeah, like I'm Paul Floss in this. And I'm like getting there. But I think the big news we got to talk about, the big Massonomics news is date confirmed.
Yes, sir.
July 20th, 2024. 90 lifters, 2 platforms, and a bonus strongman competition after all of that. So we're going to go from having everything start at 10 a.m. and finish at 1 to starting at 9 a.m. and finishing at like 7. But
I think so I'll clarify a little bit because I'm a little more familiar with power than meets from what I've read. So they're going to do an 8:30 start. They're going to try to abbreviate the rules meeting by Dave sending out the digital version of it. They're going to run 2 platforms. So instead of one platform with 4 flights of like 15 people, it's going to be 2 platforms that both have 3 flights.
Mhm.
So technically, the entire meet should only be 3 flights versus 4 flights. Though
Oh,
it should
yeah.
be done by 2-ish o'clock. But it's going to be double the work for Dave, the spotters, and because you're going to have double the judges, double the spotter and loaders, double the weight in the back, double, if there's 2
Yeah.
combo racks, like everything is going to be legit doubled. So it's going to be a big step and challenge for them. But yeah, to get that many people and try to actually get it done in 5 or 6 hours, it has to be 2 platforms. And then, yeah.
I haven't decided if I'm going to do powerlifting or strongman. I've never done a strongman competition. But as Morgan pointed out, if you're going to do your first one, you want to do the first one with the crew. Because even if you fail everything, they're still going to be there for you. So, like, now I've got till November to decide that. I might just not, because I still think, I think 175 pounds is the limit, and I'm still not there yet. And I don't really want to get there. I'm very uncomfortable at 170. I think I'd like to get back down to like 160. But 10 pounds does apparently make a difference. Me walking around like Kapakula, just like fat and stomping around, like. So, but I will be competing, providing I can get in there on the sign-up day.
Yeah, that was we had a little heated discussion about that in the Discord today. Everyone was
No,
giving me hell.
That was
I was like,
I think the funniest line I've ever said to you was in that conversation.
yeah, that was
It'll be there on meet sign-up day. Like, here you are panicking about how to sign up.
well, last year, like it sold out in a day or two, and like there was fucking only 60. So I mean, so yeah, there's gonna be more slots, but I can only like so.
So last time he opened it up to gym members and crew.
No, he's still gonna do that, but he also
No, we're getting first.
local people.
He said crew
go back and read.
first.
He said crew and gym members, so he's gonna at least 15 gym members.
I think he said crew first and gym members next.
I will put $100 on it that it's both at the same time, and then but then he followed up with basically like they're gonna try to limit the amount of just locals and like just people that like do Dave's meets and he'll just travel from like Fargo and shit. So, like just try to keep it Massonomics and Massonomics adjacent, because like 90% of the members aren't crew, but they're still Massonomics because they're part of the gym. And then obviously we're all coming in for crew. But I'm curious how many people are I'm curious how many people in 23 are going to come back for 24 solely for just like the expense, and then like talking to your family and being like, let's do it again. I feel like at least 3/4 of us will.
I'm flying in. I'm not. I'm sorry, Steve. I love you.
20-hour drive again.
I can't do that again if I'm competing. I think he wants to drive in and compete. And I think as somebody who has at this point like done 2 competitions and about to do another one, I don't think I want to do that. Plus also like the driving in was awful. Just because like drive, sleep. Like I would much rather fly in, spend the money on one hotel rather than like 5 hotels and then fly back. Like I'll show up the Thursday, I'll leave on the Monday, I'll book off the time. Steve can drive if he wants, but I'm probably just going to fly to Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean, flying to the best. Like
fly to Buffalo.
Fly out of Buffalo.
Oh, okay, fly out of Buffalo. Yeah,
I'll drive to. I'll park at your house.
Yeah, that's fine.
And we can go to the airport together.
I'm right next to the Rochester airport, but Rochester doesn't go very many places. So you got to go to Chicago or fucking Atlanta to get anywhere.
Yeah, so figured that's what I'll do. I'll just fly from Buffalo.
The only trick is then you're either flying into Minneapolis, you're flying into Sioux Falls, or you're waiting like another 6 hours for a layover to get to Aberdeen on a little puddle jumper. So
that's fine. Puddle jump it. Puddle jump it.
I mean, that's what I would still do that, I think, over getting the car, but it just fucked us on the way back because our flight changed from like an 11 a.m. departure to like a fucking 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. departure. I was like, oh, cool. I guess I'm going to drink 3 beers and try to go to bed then.
Well, Keith, we'll fucking do it live.
Yep, let's do it.
We'll do it live. I'm just going to. I'm very excited for it. It's going to be a good time. I will say the one change that I'm going to make this year is staying at the Fairfield instead of the Ramkota. Everyone is having fun at the Fairfield, and I'm over like halfway across this town, just alone at the Ramkota. I'm like, what's everyone doing?
Yeah, I remember you were legit out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, we stayed at the American.
Yeah, so you're still close to the Fairfield.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stay at the zoo. Fairfield? Like I'm just gonna rent the room above the zoo.
That,
Just
yeah.
like it's like an hourly motel where I'm probably gonna get
Yeah.
killed, but like it's
Get
just
a sleeping bag and sleep on the floor of the top shelf.
ah,
Yeah, nice and
That'd be
sticky.
so bad.
it like that floor. No offense to the zoo, I love you guys, but that floor felt like that drink.
Let's sit my drink out on that one. That's good.
Ooh, that's another change I'm going to do. Is I'm going to actually go top shelf this time. I did not do it last year. I
You almost
like
have
didn't
to.
even think about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're gonna make Bryce a sign that says like top shelf ambassador, and if you didn't go last year, he's dragging you up this time.
that's fair. I understand.
And
I mean,
Need
even
like this.
Stance went top shelf.
I'm not gonna start drinking at 10 a.m. this time because I'm gonna be lifting. So like I think last time I was like just sitting there, and I think Lou had a beer. I was like, dude, it's fucking 10. He's like, yeah. And I was like, can I have one? He's like, yeah. Right? He hands me one. I was like, what are you doing? Yeah, all right. I'll join you.
Yeah, I waited till after the meet to and start living easy, and I think having the strongman meet after this time around will be even more fun because I can actually enjoy the beer a little more. I think watching some more lifting.
I'll bring some Jaeger because I want to make sure I have Jaeger on for the deadlifts because it's always nice to loosen up before a deadlift, right? I mean, in my opinion. Oh yeah, there's also the potential for my I've been urging Jagermeister to start like a Jaeger lifting club, like the Little Debbie's one.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not biting. They're not at all interested. So I told them that I was going to make a shirt. It's like, just going to make one. I'm not going to sell it or anything. And they gave me like, not approval, but like, the silent nod in social media form. That's kind of what I got. But I was
They're like,
talking to
no,
somebody.
don't do it.
Yeah, it was essentially like, do what you got to do, buddy. Like, it was just one of those.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to somebody who makes shirts, and she has actually said, well, I'll design that. And I was like, whoa, that's one step closer. I was like, I don't know if I want to sell them because of controversy. Like, I don't want to step on anybody's like toes, but if it falls under satire laws, like there might be. I'm not putting it out there now because I might pursue it a little harder, but there might be a collaboration between me and a rather large company that everybody's familiar with doing a Jägermeister barbell club.
Nice.
That'd be sweet.
I think it'll be fun.
Looking like you had a couple here. I'm assuming you added these last two.
Yeah, just generic shit. Because like people seem to like when we just talk about generic stuff.
Just shooting the shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're probably not going to get to the interview. We're just going to shoot the shit for 45 minutes and go ahead and shut it down.
Yeah,
that's it. Dive right in.
Then we'll dive right in. Good call.
Then we'll dive right in.
I was just thinking today of like coffee. I fucking love coffee, and I've been off and on it. Right. Sometimes I try not to drink it. Other times I drink it. But the most life-changing cup of coffee I ever had. You guys know that I'm a fan of Black Label Society, right? And Zach Wild makes a coffee with Death Wish coffee. It's called Valhalla Java. Well, for Christmas one year, my wife ordered me a bag. And at the time, I was getting coffee from Tim Hortons every day because it was just what I was used to. I could not get used to home brews. The first cup of Valhalla Java I had changed that. And suddenly now, like, I love dark roasts, especially Valhalla. And you can't get it up here in Canada anymore. I got to go to the States and order it or something crazy like that because it's like $80 a bag to buy up here. But I'm just wondering, like, what's the best cup of coffee you ever had?
See, I'm not a huge coffee drinker. If I happen to go to Waffle House or something in the morning, hungover, I'll get a cup of coffee. But if anything, if I do get something coffee adjacent, then I'll get some sort of latte or an espresso drink rather, because that just tastes better to me, and I enjoy that a little bit more. But
I love me a latte, a chai latte or a pumpkin spice latte.
That's tasty. Oh, the pumpkin spice. Yep. It's delicious. No, I just any sort of latte with like a little peppermint syrup in it. That does it for me right there. I love it. It's hard to say what the best one is, but that's all I need.
Hell yeah,
a little peppermint latte.
So I'm going to stand on the hill. This is going to be another hot take of Keith's that everyone busts my balls about. Even though I'm right.
Here we go.
You guys are all wrong, but I am not a coffee drinker. I think it's a horrible flavor. I was forced as a child to make my dad's coffee every like night. Like he had like a, had to like basically like dump out the night before, put the new filter in, make the coffee, have it ready, set the timer, have it all ready for him. It was like just a childhood chore I think I had to do until I was like fucking 17 or 18 years old. Oddly, maybe when I started driving, I basically told my mom, I was like, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm an adult. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like, so I never drank coffee. It was just like one of those spiteful things that like you hate as anything you were forced to do as a child. I always like revolt against. But I drink tea. I drink a lot of unsweetened tea. That is my jam. I used to like do like hot tea in the morning pretty regularly, but I've been getting like these like just like 1 liters of unsweetened tea from the grocery store that actually taste decent, and they're only a couple bucks. And I'll drink one of those like over a 2 day span on my drive like into work or to the job site, and that's my jam. Like I said, I used to like have a Contigo and go through the effort of microwaving the water and all that shit. I'm just like, yeah, no, that's like 6 minutes I don't have anymore. So yeah, just give me my bottle of pre-made unsweetened tea. I'm good with that.
I didn't drink coffee for years until I started a warehouse job. And in order to, garner favor, the shipping companies would show up with coffee. But I didn't drink coffee. So I got nothing. So here's all these people enjoying these free coffees from these shipping guys. So one day I was like, I guess I just have to start drinking coffee. And then from there on, I just loved coffee. I don't think you're wrong. I don't think coffee is a great flavor. I think coffee is an acquired flavor. But I do think you are dead wrong. Tea is disgusting. It's just boiled leaves. My wife drinks it all the time. There's one or two that I can stand because I think they're black licorice flavored, and I kind of like those. But ultimately, I do not like tea. I drink Neocitrin before I'll drink tea.
I was going to say, like being from the South and all that, like, tea is a religion down here. Somerville, the area just a little bit north of here, is like the birthplace of sweet tea. And granted, I don't like unsweetened tea. I'm not a big fan. My girlfriend loves it, but I can't do it. I'm like the slightest little bit of sugar, she's like, "Oh, that's too sweet." But I love a good cold glass of sweet tea. That's what if I'm going to drink tea at all, that's what I want.
I don't think there's anything more stereotypical you could have said today,
other than Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Actually, I expected the Somerville, and some aren't. Like then.
I will agree though that like 80% of the teas out there do suck. Like I'm just a very and like I'll drink green tea and black tea, and maybe like if I'm trying to go to sleep I'll drink some chamomile or something. Like I have a variety of teas in the house, but like a lot of them are just shitty. They just because
it's all shit.
But when you find a good one, like a good like I
hey Keith,
you have to find a good one.
Keith, do you want to drink some boiled water right now? No, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, but what if I crushed up some dead stuff in it? Like that's just like no, tea's disgusting. But I mean, that's my personal opinion. I'm not gonna like I don't tell my wife I'm not spending money on your shitty tea. Like she enjoys tea, I'll buy it for her because she enjoys it. Like that's great, but just stop offering it to me. I'm never gonna say yes.
So yeah, I can definitely vouch that an odd thing though. I remember like growing up and like just being in the grocery store, walking down the coffee aisle where you can make your own grounds or like do your own grounds there. That smell is actually good. Like I don't mind the smell. Like to the point that like I remember as like a young kid, I would like go up to it and like actively like waft the smell into my face. Yeah. But then like just drinking. Like remember like my just drinking in like a cup of my dad's tea is like like a 14-year-old or something, and just being like, this is fucking disgusting. And then like to only and I probably I'm sure in my life probably drank a couple pots of coffee like over the course of like 38 years, but like if I drank it I put a shit ton of sugar and creamer in it. It's because I was so hungover and I just needed to be functional in that morning, and it was like before I got into tea in my 30s. So
and my take isn't like only tea. Like coffee's also just bean juice. Like it's not just burnt leaves. These are burnt beans. You ground up some beans and run some water through it and drink the brown water.
Would you drink it if it didn't have caffeine in it?
No, my wife drinks decaf, but it's essentially just I think you ever recall like one of the beginning episodes I told you the brown water story.
Yeah.
Brown that's kind of just like great. That's
number one and number two in brown water.
All right. Who's got the sponsor read today?
So I usually don't do this, but we'll go ahead and dive right into the sponsor read this week. I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about the Massonomics Crew Fall meetup. So we're gonna be in Sioux Falls on December 9th. for the basically it's the Mass Homies meetup. I don't think it has a better name than that just yet, or the Proof Ball meetup. Yeah. So there's four of us currently flying in. I know myself, two of the West Virginia boys. And there's a mystery of Florida lifter that no one has revealed who it is. I'm curious who that is. So we're gonna keep kind of hounding the Discord to see if that actually comes out, or if it's just gonna be a surprise Floridian, a Floridarian. What do you call those?
Floridian.
Floridian, yes.
Yeah, it means that they really like fluoride.
Yeah, yeah. It's something in the water down there for sure. So, I think the three or four of us are already booked for the Hilton Garden Inn, so that should make things a little bit easier for getting our crewers around town. So yeah, if you guys are in the area, I can't see an excuse for if you live under, I would say almost 3 hours. Like I think that would be like to where you could reasonably drive there Saturday morning. You could make a 3 hour drive, spend the whole day there, even if you miss the breakfast and just get there for the lift and the after party. If you don't want to, or if you don't want to drink all night or whatever. But like if you're in that, half hour to 2 to 3 hour window or like time, like there's no reason not to go. Like it's, I think we got 20 of us signed up for it, give or take already. So yeah, that'd be cool to blow it out. They've already got a sick gym picked out for it. So I think it's just gonna be great. So December 9th, Proof Falls meetup. That is your horrible ad read done by Big Keith this week. That's why I don't do it.
Excellent. That was the best ad read I've heard today.
Yeah.
Well, shit. All
Yeah,
right.
definitely top of the last 3 hours.
Well, I would love to get a guest on, I think. It's about that time. What do you think, Joey?
All right, yeah, let's kick everybody out and we'll get them on. Big Jacked and Ginger, is that you?
That's me. Howdy.
Howdy.
Welcome to the Unpaid Underrated Podcast. Oh, I just got that he said that. Oh, fuck. That was good. I was.
Yeah, welcome to Unpaid and Underrated.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
First thing I want to say is the mustache, top fucking tier mustache.
Thank you.
Like that is good work. I trust that it's all self grown. No
I grew it myself. Yes.
Yeah. I'm used to the beard. This is top tier.
A lot of people at work were taken by surprise when I walked in. But yeah, no, I'm going for like a mix between like Jonathan Oldham and Death Grip Derek. So I'm kind of like right in that middle ground.
No, I would say that's Daniel Plain's view.
All right, I don't know who that is, but
from There Will Be Blood.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I drink your milkshake.
Oh, that's a really famous actor. What the fuck is his actor?
He's retired now, but he is one of the best.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yep. Yeah, okay.
Any plans to wax and curl it? Like I used to do that, and now it just naturally does it because I use beard oils and stuff, so I can kind of keep it all. Yes, I remember the one day my wife likes to tell the story that I was like, "Hey, honey, look, my mustache touches my eye. Ow, my eye!" Because like I poked it as I was showing her.
I haven't gotten any wax yet. I might try it, but I don't know how long I'm going to keep like the actual, the ends. I might just keep it, trimmed up around the mouth, but I don't know. We'll kind of see. I kind of like it, the more I look at it, but who knows? Who knows?
You just use earwax.
My girlfriend hates it. Traditionally,
what they used was earwax. Like you would just jam your finger in your ear, then like and twist your mustache. But I actually used to use mustache wax to keep. I hated trimming my mustache. I really like having a long mustache, but the mustache wax would keep it out of my mouth while I ate, and that was important. But now, like drinking sparkling water or beer, it catches on the can. It fucking hurts.
Oh yeah.
So I had to start trimming it.
That actually didn't happen to me for the first time not too long ago. I was out with some friends and I was drinking a Miller Lite, and it just like every time I took a sip, it would just grab a mustache hair.
Cling. It makes that ting sound when you pull it. Has it gotten Has it gotten stuck in your teeth yet while you're eating?
Oh, all the time.
It gets hurts like so much. Like
the corners go in my mouth. It's not a pretty sight.
When I decide not to trim it, I want that big like over the mouth mustache. You like be eating a sandwich and then one hair will sneak in your mouth and get stuck in between your incisors, and then you'll go to like close your mouth and the mustache one little hair will yank. Oh, Yeah, that is unsightly and
It
unpleasant.
hurts to even hear. It just sounds
Yeah.
painful.
It sucks. But also, I love your mustache.
Thank you, appreciate it. My girlfriend does not, but
Yeah, well, she can start her own podcast and have you on it, and then she can rip on it. See how she likes it then.
No, the beard will come back after Halloween. I just wanted to, keep, let it regrow fresh and all that good stuff. Because I tried to do some trimming and it didn't work out well. And if you look closer, you could see some like weird spots. I was like, let's just go ahead and knock it down.
Now, are you going to utilize the mustache in your Halloween costume this year if you do anything for Halloween?
That's the idea. So I'm thinking most likely I'll be Lieutenant Dangle from Reno 911. Get the
Hell
white
yeah.
boots, new boot goofing. But then also I could do like the like a 1930s like boxer, or an old timey strongman. Or there's a lot of opportunities with this mustache.
Yeah, you get the singlet with the one strap.
Get the real deep, one strap
and the one boot.
That'd be sweet.
Hey, so whoa, I'm on a swivel chair here, and it just lost gravity. So what brought you to Massonomics? Like, what, you're here before us?
So I remember this is probably 6 years ago or so, watching Basement Brandon's videos. I used to see like the Lyft logo banner in the background. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, whatever. And then didn't really think much of it. I might have like looked at the website once for shirts or something, but I didn't buy anything. And I was, starting to listen to podcasts and like getting into that, and was listening to this one called Iron Minds podcast. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of it or remember it. But it's just three guys, they were, shooting the shit most of the time, kind of very similar to how Massonomics, just without the silly goosery. But they ended their podcast, and I was like, man, I don't really have any other lifting podcast to go to. I might have been listening to like the Broadcast with Brandon Allen and Andy Wong, but
yeah, I listened
apart from that one, I was like, I want something else, like to kind of fill this void. And so I literally just Googled. I was like, lifting podcasts, and sure enough, like the Massonomics website popped up, and it had like top 10 lifting podcasts, and of course they were listed on that too. So I was like, all right, you know what, let's give it a shot.
Very smart of them to do that.
And so yeah, exactly. So I was like, let's give it a shot. And at first I was like, I don't know, I'm not sure how I feel about it. And then I just kind of started listening, like cherry picking a little bit, and seeing what I liked. And then I started buying a shirt, and then I became a supporting member, and then the rest is history.
Did you get in before they started regularly doing guest interviews then, or was it like right when they started, kind of?
So I wrote down the first episode. I think I'm not sure if I went back to this one, but the first one that I have that I listened to is episode 153, which was March 11th, 2019.
Yeah, when it came out.
So I've been listening since around that time. And it grew on me the first couple episodes, and I was like, these guys are great. I love this.
That was Tyler was already gone by then, right? Like, he would have been like, because he was only there for the first 100 or so episodes, I think. So
yeah, it was just Tommy and Tanner.
That was like generation 3 of like what's been like a 5-generation podcast. I think when you kind of first got into it. So that's awesome though. I think I always love hearing people's origin stories, because it's always a little different, but there's always some similarities. Like I think it was Big Steve a couple weeks ago. Essentially, he was listening to a podcast. It kind of just ended, and then just reached out to something else. And I think I was kind of in the same boat. I had that void for a couple years before I actually found them, and like, these are my people. This is my jam. So it's really always cool to hear.
So if anyone, what number's on your crew card?
64.
Oh, I wonder if I beat you.
I've been a member since 8/27/21.
Okay, I can't find mine at the moment. It's in my other fanny pack. But I think I was 63. Because remember when I posted the
Oh,
picture
wow.
and then I was like so close to, I was like so close, and I was saying how close to 69 I was, but then
Mhm.
somebody was like, "Yeah, we didn't mean to spell your name wrong." I hadn't even noticed my name was wrong. I was so much more interested in what number I was. That was really
That's
funny.
funny.
I might start asking everybody that. Yeah, I might, and then maybe even putting
We
it in
might
the
need
show notes.
to, yeah, we might need to like preemptively ask them beforehand. 'Cause a lot of people
Yeah,
aren't gonna. I don't know off the top of my head. I think I'm low 100s though. I mean, they're like 98
Yeah,
or like 107 or something. I think.
yeah, I'm definitely
I
gonna
pulled
start
this
bringing that
out
up.
before.
Oh, hell
I was
yeah!
like, just in case, I was like,
Just in case
let me
Joey
bring
brings
this
it
out.
I
up. Yeah.
don't. No, I don't know if I believe. If I didn't see you do it, Ryan, I don't know if I'd believe you. I don't think I've ever seen a guy with a mustache pull out before.
He better 10 months until the lift hard, live easy. Everybody,
Now
That was
that's
good.
actually good to bring up. Yeah. So
everybody in the
That was
crew.
good.
I'm telling you right now,
Yeah.
That was really good.
whether you are a chocolate chip or a guy, don't be pregnant or get anybody pregnant now.
Keep it in your pants.
Yeah,
Keep it in your
like
pants.
just lock it up, start pulling out, jacking off in the dark, whatever you got to do.
oh, I'm gonna make that a real.
Nobody is missing this for babies next year.
Out of context, that'd be great.
It's a pulling out is. You just
Think of like all the crew that had sex in the last like 5 or 6, even 2 weeks. They're like,
Yep.
"Fuck, am I gonna have
Yeah.
a newborn and not be able to go?"
They're like, oh no.
That's what pulling out is. Like, and some other comedian I think talked about this, where it's just like you're having sex with somebody and then you pull out and then it's just you.
Yeah.
Like, and then it's like they might as well not even be there, and that's kind of the funny joke I had there. But yeah, I don't want to hear anybody, and I'm just gonna like, yeah, no more babies causing you to miss this. Miss the Arnold, but don't miss this.
Mhm.
Don't miss the
I will
Arnold.
definitely be there. So going back to the 2024 meet, I will say in your defense, Keith, earlier, I was also, before I got the automatic invite, with winning Big Dave's Instagram, contest thing, I was also very worried about, signing up. I was like, God, I swear I'm gonna like
Oh, I remember
be
that
at
was
work.
I remember that was a thing like a month ago that you actually won that. That was cool because it was like share my shit and you'll win
Mhm.
a free entry to any meet. And then I think I asked him like, does that count for Live Hard Live Easy 2024? So yeah, I didn't ever see any follow up on that. So that's cool that you won that. That's legit.
So yeah, that I will 100% be there now. I mean, I basically can't not go.
I'm going either way, even if I don't get into the meet. If I don't get into the powerlifting, I'll sign up for the strongman. If I don't get into the strongman, I'm still
Yeah.
going to show up. But this, I'll bother them for a press pass this year, and it'll be fucking hilarious. Because that's what I wish I had done last year. Is just because like there were times where I'd go into like the warm up room. Everybody knows me, but like maybe some people don't, right? Like Larry Legend has no clue who I am, but most crew knew who I was. But it would have been so much more interesting to have like a press pass. It's like just got the Massonomics M and it just says press, but I'm literally just here for this podcast.
Yeah, I think if we're both lifting, we should try to get, if there is someone there that's not lifting, they're just like basically doing a Joey next year, like just come in and help and hang out and support. Like we need to give them privileges to our Instagram that weekend and be like, here, post stories all day long because we're too busy.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Because I do feel like I feel like I was just so overwhelmed and immersed that I was like, I'll throw some stories up here and there, but it was like, I'm busy. Like, I don't, like, sorry, like I want everyone to be in this world, but like, fuck, if you wanted to be here, you'd have been here. So,
yeah.
So I hope there's just gonna be, I feel like it's gonna be so much better with more people next year. It's gonna be so fun. I think the one downside is like, it's gonna be at the OD ice rink again, and motherfuck, it's gonna be 100 degrees. But at least if we all know it, I'll just like bring more water basically, and maybe like bring some ice from the hotel.
Great. Oh, let's all. No, me and you will get those little nerdy things that people put around their neck that have the fans that spray their face.
Little fans.
Right? We'll just walk around looking like one of those guys.
I won't be like Eddie who drove and was able to like bring his actual like 20-volt DeWalt or Ryobi like fan, but you can get one of those little neck ones off Amazon for like $20. It's like the size of headphones. So that might actually have to be a thing. Honestly, that'd actually probably a really good like $30 investment for that weekend. But who knows? It could be fucking snowing in Aberdeen that week for all we know.
I didn't actually think it was too bad in there. I mean, near the end of the meet, like deadlifts, I was with the hype and all that. I was getting a little sweaty, but it
And the
wasn't terrible
fire.
at the start for me. Yeah, the fire also. Yep.
Well, does the commercial gym you looked at, is it AC or is it just like hot as shit?
Yeah, it's air conditioned, but it's if there's a lot of people in there, then it can get a little warmer.
Okay.
But it's a great spot. I love it.
Nice. Well, I was just trying to get it. Like, if I know you're from the South, but like, are you used to training in the heat too? Whereas, like, I'm spoiled, and my gym is like, between 60 and like 75 degrees year round, basically. So, lifting in an 80-degree room, I was like, oh, I'm dying.
It's not too bad in there. It's definitely warmer than my old gym that I was at, but yeah, it's not unbearable by any means.
Nice. Well, as someone that's been around the podcast a little bit longer, or a little bit longer than we have been buying merch a little longer, what's one piece of Massonomics merch that you wish you had bought that you missed out on?
See, I was thinking about this and like, it's hard to say, but I honestly I really do wish I got the original Yeah Buddy lightweight. That
Mm.
I mean that's a great one. Maybe the huge life because I never got that one, and I obviously like the blank is so highly sought after. So it's like I want to know what it feels like. But
When did we become this? Like, this was such a silly fucking thing that like we're buying t-shirts and now like the main chat is about the blank. And it's Tanner's fault for doing it but it's just I've never heard that phrase. I've never heard anybody care about it more than in the past like 2 weeks. We're like, what blank is it? What blank is that?
You're paying $35 or $40 delivered, $35 delivered for a shirt.
No, you're
And
not wrong.
If it doesn't fit, you're
Nobody's wrong. Like I want my shirts to fit. It's just so funny that you're like, because of that blank is so
Yeah.
sought after. Like imagine that sentence a month ago. We'd all be like, what?
Like, what?
When I did my run of t-shirts for my gym, I had to like specifically kind of like, okay, it's gonna fit. It's gonna be like a 50-50. It's gonna fit like a normal shirt. Like it's not a fitted. Like I had to like go into detail, kind of just explain like how it fit and just kind of what it was. So Big Ryan, do you want people to find you on Instagram and Discord? What are they gonna look for?
On Discord, I'm Big Jacked and Ginger, and then on Instagram, I'm just regular Jacked and Ginger. There's no big in the name.
Gotcha. So speaking of Jacked and Ginger, we got a question here from a former host of the Masconomics podcast, Big Tyler Stone. He wants to know if you had to pick one, would you rather be jacked or ginger?
Oh,
I mean, you kind of take that any way you want, but
let's see. I mean, I haven't been jacked my whole life, but I've been ginger my whole life. So honestly, out of the two, it's hard to give up the ginger part, but I definitely think that I would rather be jacked.
you'd rather be jacked.
You can't go wrong with being
ginger.
You can't go wrong with being jacked.
Gotcha. Have you got a lot of shit for being a ginger over your life? Just the whole like no soul joke and all that, like just stereotypical ginger shit.
Absolutely. I mean,
yeah, South
Park
fucked us for a little bit. Yeah.
Some of the guys I used to work with, at one of my first jobs at one of the golf courses around here, like, I got so much shit for being a ginger, and it was like, it was one of those things where they were making fun of me because like they did like me, but it was just giving me shit. But one of the guys, he gave me a nickname. He was like, all right, I'll either call you Irish or Ginger. Which one would you prefer? I was like, well, I don't like either of them. And he's like, so I was like, I mean, I guess just Ginger, and then it got shortened to Ginny, and then that just became my name for. I mean, they still call me that to this day, but even around the golf course, like for the next 8 years I was there, it's just like, oh yeah, hey, what's up, Ginny? And like, it's someone tried to call me by my real name, and he was like, no, his fucking name is Ginny. It's like, okay. So, it's been like that my whole life, but a lot of fun to come with it.
Sometimes I'll hit them with that's our word.
I like that.
When they're like, "Oh, look at the ginger," I was like, "You can't say that. That's our word."
You can't say that.
I'll get right serious on them. Did we mention who that was from? I zoned out for a second.
Big Tyler F. Stone.
We got a lot of questions for you from crew. I want to point out. Like normally we don't have this many, so we got a lot this time.
That's a good question to start out with. I like that.
Yep. While we're still on the Jack and Ginger train, Big Coach Carp wants to know who is the most jacked ginger out there.
God, I don't even.
Chuck
I
Norris.
don't keep up with. Yeah, that's a good one. I I don't keep up with too many Jack's Gingers, so it's like, I mean, the first one that come actually, this is kind of the first person I think of because I get called this at work by one of my buddies. But Sheamus, the WWE wrestler,
Yeah, it's good.
you know,
That's a good idea.
he's so I'd have to go with him. I think.
Celtic Warrior working.
I mean,
Sure.
apart from me, but I'm not as famous as him. I'm the most Jack.
Sheamus got really jacked for a while there. And then I guess must have been on a bulk because like he went from being shredded to just being big. But I mean, he's a big dude. I've always liked watching him. Always liked watching him.
Yeah, I saw a video of he and Juji were at one of the gyms a little bit north of me, probably a couple of years ago. I was like, oh shit, that would have been cool to go there and meet them. But yeah, that was way after the fact that I saw the video.
Let's do I'll do the last one that I got from Crew. Let me jump ahead here. So this one's kind of funny. So big foot guy Mofo wants to know: are you a before or an after picture of Big Chris Daminger?
Yes.
And where am I? Where do I fit in there? Because that's us. Jen, I think it was Jen demanded we get that picture with the three of us.
Yeah.
I'm in my kilt, fat, and then you're all shredded, and then Chris is like
I'm not shredded.
You were at the time. Yeah, that was fun.
No, I remember. I think the first night we were in Aberdeen on Thursday when we were at Pounders, and we were sitting there talking for a little bit, and then Jen was just like, "Oh my God, there's two of them," and we just started busting out laughing, and that was great.
Well, we touched on it earlier, and I think it is one of the things that I got Tanner to announce when Tanner finally took over the microphone, and he was just giving like pieces of info on all the lifters. I was like, don't forget to mention that he was on the Righteous Gemstones in the God Squad. So I mentioned earlier that we had a connection. Robert was on the main podcast,
right.
Sorry, the sister podcast, and now you're on ours. And like the Massonomics universe and the Righteous Gemstones is just like shrinking. Because I love that show. Before I even knew you were on it, I was watching that show. Right. And so like I think that's really cool. Is there the God Squad's probably not coming back, right?
No, they that was a one season thing.
Do you see any I don't like the way this is worded, so I'm just gonna say it. Like, who would win, God Squad or Crew?
Oh, I mean, that's I mean, so the God Squad has the jackedness and all that, like, and God on their side, but Crew's got numbers, so it's like 300 and something Crew versus 14, 15 Jack guy. That's a tough one.
It's such a silly question. I'm sorry.
It is, but
who would win a fight? My dad could be
through the power of friendship. I think the Crew would win.
Yes. The real squad is the friends we made along the way.
That's right. It's not about what you know; it's who you know.
That's true, and we know at least two of the strongest people on the Righteous Gemstones. We got Robert and we got you.
Both Massonomics or Massonomics adjacent.
Correct. That is correct.
So I usually don't dive too far into people's occupation, but I'm just from what one of your friends, or I don't remember who gave me this, but they just gave me Mercedes team member as your occupations. I'm assuming I'll let them elaborate on that. I'm curious of what you do for them. And
yeah, so all of so I work at the Mercedes-Benz vans plant here in Charleston. So we produce all the vans for all of North America, which is pretty neat. And I'm in the paint shop. Kind of started on the seam seal line. If You most likely have no idea what that is. I didn't before I started there, but essentially it's just like feeling the vans for water tightness. Like if you go to your car, look at like open the door, look at the seam on the edge, like you'll see a little ribbon of like hardened PVC. That's what I started out doing. But right now I'm just kind of floating around, learning new stuff, and just getting passed around the shop. Now on first shift, which is what allows me to be here on this lovely evening with you gents.
Yeah, for everyone, I offered Big Jack and Ginger a spot on the podcast like 3 months ago in July, and at that point he was working third shift, and it just wasn't. He was
Shift.
second shift, so you would have physically been working when we're recording, so it just wasn't an option. And I think I told him then I was like, "Well, hit me if it ever changes." I think you made a comment either on Instagram or the Discord that you were on a different shift, and I was like, I reached out to you and like we had just scheduled like a week.
So I did lay that as bait a little bit. I am excited about it, but I was like, oh, I'm on first shift now. And then sure enough, like an hour later, he's like, you want to be on the podcast? I was like, yeah.
Spreadsheets come in handy because like for 3 months you were on the spreadsheet as not available until shift change or something like that. And I was like, oh, good stuff.
Yeah, so I'm happy to be here.
I'm glad to have you, buddy.
Now, why don't we have your brother? I understand that you're very proud of how attractive and cool he is.
That was what he gave.
Oh no, I know. That's hilarious.
I could only have guessed that was him. Yeah, no, he's not a crew. That's all I can say.
It was funny because I expected him to follow up on that with like something legit.
No,
and he didn't, and I was just like,
no.
A lot of your friends gave me a lot of random shit that like just didn't get copy and pasted into here because I'm like, well, that's just a random story that I don't know how to incorporate into anything other than like your personal experience with him that's not relevant to him. I was like,
right.
Oh, I don't know what to do with that.
No, that's fair.
I'll tell you a quick story today. My kid, I gave my iPad to my kid, okay, and I didn't factory reset it. I just removed all of my information, and I guess it kept a bunch of my pictures on it. And he found this cat meme I had downloaded years ago that is a picture of essentially a cat smirking and looking a little self-righteous or a little grumpy. Mm-hmm. So I had to explain to him, like, Daddy, why do you have this cat? And I was like, well, this is what Daddy would look like if he was a cat. So I understand that you really like cat memes.
I do love some cat memes.
Yeah, me too. So, like, tell me about your favorite cat meme.
I mean, it's hard to say. There's so many good ones. Like right now, I've been really enjoying the ones. It's like, the black cat sitting there with like just this like blank stare on his face with the other cat, like kind of looking like it's talking to him, and like just all the ones going with that. Like those are those are hilarious, and just seeing all the orange cat memes because like we just got an orange cat maybe I think 6 months ago. And he's just a absolute terror, but he's like the sweetest cat too whenever he wants to be. So it's just like seeing those and then the parallels with him. I'm like, yeah, it tracks. He is a straight up orange cat just going nuts. He's fantastic. Actually had to close the door to this room because he was trying to barge in a little bit ago and doing his little meows. And
he'll show you who's Jack and Ginger.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure he's like, Dad? Like, yes, it's me.
Anyway, that was fun. I do love cat memes, especially on TikTok. There's a guy called Rockstar, and he does voiceovers for dogs and cats. So, like, it'll just be like a cat running around, and he'll be like he'll be dictating what the cat is saying. It is genuinely funny.
Oh, have you ever watched on Instagram and probably on TikTok too? But his name is Drennan Davis, and he has I think 4 cats, and he does voiceovers for them, and like it's kind of like a little skit each time he posts, and it's hilarious. And there's always, it's always funny. Like it always gets me a good laugh.
And then there's the 2 artists that have made songs using cats. I don't know if you've caught any of that. Those are really fun.
I don't think so.
There's one guy, he's called The Kiffness or something. And like if there's a cat The most famous one is there's a cat that sounds like it's saying, "Sometimes I'm alone, sometimes I'm not. Hello." And it sounds like the cat is saying that. So this guy took that and he made it a whole song using that cat's
Wow.
voice. It's actually incredible, but like the internet just stays untested. Like it's so fun.
Yeah, people's creativity never disappoint.
Correct. What's your favorite brand of smelling salts? Go.
That's a tough one. I'm gonna have to go with Obsidian Ammonia.
Hell yeah, sponsor of this podcast.
So I got a good one here. I guess it's more of a versus. So here you have a very strong opinion on this. So Moe's. So welcome to Moe's versus Chipotle.
Like Moe's Tavern from Simpsons?
It's like it's Chipotle adjacent.
Chipotle adjacent.
Like speedy like Mexican themed like Subway type of
Is
like
it isn't Chipotle owned by McDonald's?
no
That I don't know. But I
no
actually
fucking
had this conversation with someone at work today, actually, and
so you have
so
fresh.
Moe's is I know it's not everywhere. It's my go-to if I just want a good old burrito. Just flavors are there, the quality is there, the chips are free. It's all delicious. Like it's they know how to make a burrito, put things together. Great. I swore off Chipotle, especially after this moment because my girlfriend doesn't care for Moe's that much. So I was like, all right, I want something like this, so we'll go to Chipotle. Like I'll get a quesadilla. Like that's fine. And usually at any other place that does this, Qdoba or I haven't been there too often, so I can't speak on them really. But Moe's especially, if you get rice or corn salsa or whatever, they put it inside the quesadilla. So I got a chicken and cheese quesadilla with, I think it was salsa, some rice, and then something else. I forget what it was, but I opened the box after getting it, and then it was just chicken and cheese in the quesadilla with everything else on the side. So I had to deconstruct my quesadilla to remake it to what I wanted. I was just like, this is the stupidest shit ever, and it's not even good. Like I was like, I'm done. I'm not. I'm so done with Chipotle.
So is that your only experience with Chipotle though?
No, I've had numerous. The only thing I
Okay,
can say about
because
Chipotle is that the good thing I will say is that burritos are good size. They're nice and big. It's great. But the chicken's always, too like charred. It's just the flavors aren't as robust in my opinion. You got to pay for the chips. The queso's not even. It's just not. It's not for me. I don't like it. I'm not a big
it's
fan.
definitely more expensive. It's more or less like everything's a la carte compared
Yeah.
to Moe's, give or take. But like I'm glad you at least had some other stuff because if you're judging Chipotle solely on their quesadilla, I'm pretty sure their quesadilla is like only on their fucking kids menu. Like you have to, or like it's not like a regular item or it's not a regularly served item, or at least like
I think it was
super.
new at the time or something like
Yeah.
it. This was maybe a year and a half ago or so, and I was like, no, I'm done with this
But
place.
yeah, I do agree. Moe's quesadillas are legit because you can add like
And their stacks,
it ends up being like a
delicious.
fucking 4 inch thick quesadilla.
Oh yeah.
Their quesadilla almost is a stack where they like fold it over. So I always ask to get my quesadilla crispy, just because when they just make it regular, because I have like 7
It's too
different options
floppy.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like no, make that like damn near burn that bitch so it doesn't fall apart.
Can't have a floppy
Still-
quesadilla. No, I mean, McDonald's does not own Chipotle. They were a major investor until 2006, and then they divested.
Word. Yeah, I would. I don't know.
I don't want to get fact checked again on
It's
some
nice
like
when we
random
fix
thing that I
ourselves.
was just like, I wonder if, and then somebody's like, no, idiot, in the Discord. Somebody's always coming for me.
Actually,
Yeah, actually, fucking nerds. So Keith, you jumped in a little quickly there. I had follow-ups.
Oh man.
Yeah, what is your we're gonna count this as the sponsor read. So I was just wondering, tell me about your favorite Obsidian Ammonia. Tell me about the time that you used it the best or the scent was the best. Go.
That's also another tough one. Like there's so many good scents. Right now I've really been enjoying the menthol regret. It hurts, but it's refreshingly painful. Um,
That's the tobacco, right? The menthols.
right, that's a newer
I
one.
should have got on that, but like I have a whole container of obsidian ammonia. Like I
Oh,
would give it away at this point.
I've got like 6 bottles open in my gym bag. I just reach in and grab, and I'm like, all right, well, pumpkin spice today, and then like next one I'll be like, all right, this is nose candy today.
I don't use them enough, but I like so nose bleach, I'm gonna say is my favorite. I have always loved the nose bleach, but now the Dim Mac is Dim Mac and nose bleach combined, the Redux, and that's just sitting in there. And I opened up the container the other day to ask Steve like if he needed some, and it just hit me, and then I was like, God, I really want to open that Dim Mac. Like,
I do want to try the Dim Mak Redux, but the nose bleach alone, like I'm scared of nose bleach. Like I'll open it for like special occasions, but I know it's gonna hurt.
it's gonna hurt. It's gonna get up inside your nose, behind your eyeball, and make it feel like your eyeball's falling out.
That sounds bad.
But no, I right now I think the pumpkin spice has always been like one of the ones that I constantly get each year, and that's honestly probably my favorite because it still hits hard and it's
Pumpkin spice
it's a great.
lobotomy, they call it, right? The PSL. It is available now. I don't know if anybody won that gift card with the golden ticket, but
I did not. I tried.
I can't justify more ammonia, but I want to. I want more ammonia. I wanted this tobacco one so bad because we talked about snuff, I think, last 2 weeks ago or something. I just miss snuff. Snuff is Did we not talk about snuff?
I chewed tobacco for like 5 years of my life, and it was just the hardest thing I ever. But you're talking about something. You're talking about like a tobacco.
Snuff is a powdered tobacco that you sniff.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Not in America. And snuff is like just like chewing tobacco. But
I don't know what you guys would call it, but up here and the rest of the world, snuff is a powdered tobacco that you snort. And it was
the weirdest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, it was the best. Apparently the Queen developed it so that she could, like hundreds of years ago, a queen developed it so she could visit the poor areas and not have to smell them. So she would and I used to get cans of it. Like you get apricot and mint and like peanut butter jelly, and like you'd get all these scents and flavors. And it was my favorite way to get tobacco. But Canada outlawed it. So nobody sells it up here. You can't even get it on the res. And you can get anything on the res. Like you can't get snuff. I think I had to start ordering it from Sweden at some point to get it. And now I can't even remember the website. So that's fun.
That's so random that like the same word, like I literally like chewed snuff for fucking from like 17 to like 21 or 22 or something. It was the hardest fucking thing I ever did was giving that up. Like I still dream about that. Like I have not had tobacco in my system in fucking shit, almost 20 years, and I still literally get a dream about it once or twice a year where I'm like I wake up and I'm like, oh man, did I give in last night at the party and like do something? I was like, oh, thankfully I didn't.
So if you Google snuff tobacco,
yeah,
you get what I'm talking about.
Huh. That's weird.
Interesting, yeah.
That must be on the Canadian Google.
And you get a lot of stuff saying don't do it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean that's fair.
But anyway, so back to the obsidian ammonia thing, because that's like I was thinking of ordering that stuff, but yeah, I love me my nose.
Do it.
Right, just do it. Just rip it and rip it. Order it. Use code unpaid. Save 15%. Help out the podcast. Help out my ammonia addiction.
So when I did snuff images, like the first 3 or 4 is like the shit up your nose, and then maybe like 6 or 7 down, it goes to like what I consider snuff.
Well, we call that chew.
Yeah, well, yeah, This is weird. I didn't never know that. I'm like looking at the images of people fucking doing lines off their hands. I'm like,
yeah, that's
wow,
how you do it.
Like, that's crazy.
You would do it like cocaine, except it's just tobacco. It's literally the same thing. You're just snorting tobacco. Finely ground tobacco.
It had to be so unhealthy. Like, obviously, if it's fucking outlawed. I don't know if that was ever. I might do some research later and see if that was ever a thing in America. Like, if it was ever legal here or ever consumed.
No, Americans like gross stuff like chewing tobacco that they have to spit out in front of everybody.
Yeah, that did that for you.
You hold in your fucking gross cup. My one buddy used to do it, and I love the guy, but he used to, and he's sitting at the bar into this gross cup. He's like, dude, it looks like gasoline.
Yeah, I did that a lot. So the worst is being drunk and rubbing while you're using like an empty beer can or a beer bottle as your spitter, and you're so fucking drunk that you go to drink your beer and you drink the goddamn spitter,
Oh
and you're like,
no.
fuck.
No,
I
you
did
earned
it.
you
I've done that
earned
two or
that,
three times a month.
disgusting man.
Oh, it's like, oh man, no, it was a horrible. It was the worst fucking habit of my life. I was like, I to reiterate again, like it was the hardest. Like stopping that was the hardest thing I ever did in my life. It took me like 3 or 4 attempts, and I was finally able to like put the can down completely because I ended up having like a really bad sinus infection or cold or flu, or like I was sick and out of work for like a week, and I physically like couldn't do it because I was so congested. And then I remember going back to work, and I think I was working framing houses or construction at the time, and I had a can in my tool belt, and I opened it up and I looked at it and I kind of thought about it, and I just fucking chucked it in the woods and never was tempted or did it again. Well, I was tempted, but never did it again.
Yeah,
Like I'll remember that. I'll remember that until the day I die.
I gave up snuff pretty easily, and then just I think pretty recently started thinking about it again. But even like cigars, I think I had one earlier this week, and I haven't had one since. And I've said it before that cigars are just one of those things that I enjoy, but I don't like come home like itching for. Right? If I come home and the weather's nice and I have an hour, I'm gonna go have a cigar. But like on a night like tonight where my day was jammed, I'm not like missing cigars. I don't have an addiction to tobacco, so anyway. Keith, pick something else to talk about. I just went
Yeah.
on way too long about fucking powdered
So
tobacco.
I got two here that kind of correlate with each other. So I two facts I heard about you from your family and friends is you love to cook and you're an extremely picky eater. Do those kind of correspond with each other?
I mean, yeah, probably. I mean, so I'd always been, I don't love to cook since I was a little kid. My mom would teach me how to do certain things, and grandparents would teach me how to cook, all that good stuff. And then I tried to go to culinary school for a little bit, and then I was just like, no, I don't want to do this. And then I actually went to a real kitchen before I went to go work in Mercedes. I was like, holy shit, this is a blast. Like it was one of the most fun jobs I ever had. I was a pizza cook at one of the restaurants downtown. I was out front working, being able to talk to people and like just kind of just, I don't know. It was one of the most fun things I've ever done. And then I went to go do this and just completely changed everything. Um, I don't do as much cooking anymore, but I'm still a very picky eater. I'm a lot better than I used to be, but it's definitely it sucks in a way because I'm like I want to like enjoy things that other people do, but it just doesn't taste good. I'm like I don't or the texture like of something just isn't for me. I'm like
You
no.
do oyster snooters or shooters.
See,
You're
again.
telling me like texture's an issue? We're gonna take a load
Well,
in the mouth and say texture's an issue? Like
So you have tried everything that you consider that you don't like, or you're just afraid to eat new shit?
no, I mean I'm not afraid to try anything, but I'll definitely like I'm very opinionated. I'll be like, no, this is garbage. But no, trust me, like me now, if you would have asked me like 3 years ago, I'd be like, do you like oysters? I'm like, no, because they're gross. And I actually like started to try and like I started with the steam. I was like, all right, it's not bad. Like a little cocktail sauce, it's fine. And like went to the oysters on the half shell, like,
mhm.
oh, this is pretty good. And then like just kind of just open that whole
Little
you
lemon
know
juice, little hot
yeah.
sauce, maybe some horseradish to make
Yeah.
it go down a little. I know what
Oh
you're saying.
yeah, and
I
I
know
and
what you're
I,
saying.
I do a little, put on the cracker, get a little Tabasco, a little cocktail sauce, a little extra horse. Just I make a show out
Yep.
of it, but so you can get a little extra crunch with that. But yeah, no, it definitely has been my whole life just being a picky eater, and I'm definitely a lot better. But it's yeah,
What's the one thing you won't touch no matter how it's prepared?
It's
ooh.
a good one. It's a good one.
My
That
answer
is a
is
good one.
my answer is very easy. So, but because my wife labels me a picky eater, although there are people who are pickier, right? Like if I come home and my wife's like, I made this for dinner, I'll be like, okay, I'll eat that. But if I have a choice, I don't want that. Like my stepdad, I guess you would call him, he's a way pickier. He won't eat anything. So I'm not that level, but there is one thing that if she tells me it's in there, I will go somewhere else to eat.
I really can't like off the top of my head. I mean, there's a lot of different things, and I kind of had a little one of my questions for y'all was going to involve this kind of thing. But a lot of cheeses I don't like. Like
Oh,
I
okay.
won't touch them. I will not touch them. Like unless it's like a basic cheese,
Mm-hmm.
like cheddar. I love
Stink.
a good sharp cheddar.
You don't like
Yeah,
stinky cheese.
blue cheese, disgusting.
Yep.
Gouda, gross.
Whoa.
Yeah, not, exactly.
Yeah.
People want me to, they're like, oh, try this brie cheese. I'm like, okay, it tastes like nothing. I'm like, this is terrible.
Brie
I'm
does
like,
taste like nothing.
I'm like, thank you.
It's delicious, but it does taste like nothing when it's done properly. That's fun.
Yeah,
Jesus. Yeah, like you go to like your fancy charcuterie and like try this like aged goat fucking anus
yeah, no,
whatever,
I'll
and you're just
pass.
like, no, this but it doesn't it taste bitter? That's not good. Like
Yeah, no, I'm
mine's mushrooms.
not a fan.
Mine's mushrooms. Won't fucking touch them.
Ooh, I
Yep.
like them.
Okay.
Nope. Now, if there's mushrooms in it that I can pick out, the flavor of mushrooms is not a problem for me. I enjoy what mushrooms will add to the sensory of like the flavor and the smell. But the moment the mushroom is in my mouth, I will gag and immediately not want to touch the meal.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I can see
That's
it. Like,
fair. I'm not a, sorry, go ahead, Keith.
there's like a soggy, like I like a crispy, almost like charred and burnt mushroom, or like a because like you can like I can tell when it's like a good fresh-ish mushroom versus like what they opened a fucking can of in the back. So like I'm kind of thinking like if it's a lower in place, like yeah, you can hold off on the mushrooms because they're just gonna suck. But if you go to a nice steakhouse, you're probably gonna get decent like grilled mushrooms with like and like a sauteed onion thing.
So here's the thing. Mushrooms eat poop. Mushrooms eat dead things. Mushrooms eat detritus. And then they grow into this thing that you're supposed to eat that, in my opinion, has the same texture as human flesh. So I have no desire.
Fuck,
No,
you know what human tech flesh
because
texture
I've
is?
eaten, like, if you eat meat,
I don't know.
right? Have you ever had pork rinds?
Joey the cannibal.
Like, pork rinds are just fried
Pork rinds are
flesh.
gross. Pork
No,
rinds
I
fucking
Yeah, I
gross.
love
mean,
pork rinds,
No.
but when they're not done
not a big
properly,
fan.
they just taste like terrible stuff. So yeah, no mushrooms. And my wife knows if she cooks with them, she warns me. I pick them out. I don't eat them. She's, I'm thinking these fancy shiitake. I don't know. Nope. Just gross. Just fungus. I'm not eating fungus. I don't eat bugs and I don't eat fungus.
Yeah, I'm not a big mushroom guy either.
Yeah, there you go. But then try this delicious goat anus fungus. No, I'm not. Like, goat angus. It's twice now. So the name of this episode.
Nice. Best served on a charcuterie board.
Charcuterie board.
All right, so maybe one or two, and we can get into the overrated, underrated. I just want to touch on one. We'll bring up your brother again. I want to hear a quick story on how he convinced you to use your grandpa's garden as a bathroom. And if it's just pissing, that's not funny. But if you actually took a shit in it, I really want to hear the story.
I knew this was I knew this was going to come up. That's when yeah, okay. So let me go ahead and preface this by saying I was probably 4 or 5 years old. I was probably 4 or 5 years old at the time, maybe as old as 6. And so me and my brother were out. We were playing some game. I forget what it was, and I was like, "Yeah, I got to go use the bathroom." And my brother's like, "Oh, we'll just use the garden." I was like, "Okay." And so I went to go take a shit in his garden, and my brother, he's just like running in and out of the house, like bringing me toilet paper. Like he's being a terrible big brother by encouraging this. And my granddad finally, like the second time he went in there, he was like, "All right, what is going on?" And like walked out and he squatted in the garden. And then that's about all I remember.
Uh, that's hysterical.
But I was just, yeah, it's. I knew he was going to mention that story.
And the funny thing is, like, stories like that are probably like you probably remember people telling the story more than you might even remember the event because that's something that you probably got. You probably that was probably told like every 2 or 3 years at a family reunion.
Oh,
Because
it comes up all the time. It comes, and my dad is always the one who will, bring it up, and he gives my brother shit. He's like, "You were the one encouraging," and he's like, "Well, yeah, we wanted to play the game."
I'd have to check
But
the deal. I'm pretty sure your girlfriend's the one that told me that, but she just worded it as go to the bathroom and not take a shit. So like I almost didn't bring it up
yeah,
because I'm like it was so big. And does it mean just like everyone pisses outside? It's like nothing. But I was like I have to ask if there's a chance he shit in the garden. I want to hear it, and that's hysterical. I'm glad that we got that story. So
oh god, yeah.
I'm cool with just maybe one more and moving on to unpaid if you're good
I
with that.
I've got nothing else actually. So
Then let's go ahead. Try to keep this one under 4 hours.
yes, oh, we're coming up on 2. If I like, it's a PR. If you can keep us under 2 hours, Ryan, like you fucking
Hey,
win.
all right.
Because I am.
See you later. Yeah.
He just dips out now. It says here you love to golf, and I want to know why you hate Tanner's truck.
That's good stuff.
Oh, yeah, I do love to golf.
I loved watching that
And-
reaction. You were like, "Wait, what?" And then thought,
yeah,
and
it
then
took
we're
me a
like,
second.
"God damn it!"
I can, with 100% confidence say I've never hit a vehicle, but I have hit a few houses.
And was that your fault?
I mean, it wasn't intentional. It just the ball, I pulled it a little bit, then it just started to turn, and next thing I know, I heard boom, and then luckily one of the times it was one of the members of the golf course I worked at. She was like, "It's you." I was like, "Oh no!" I was like, "Yep, it's me." And she was like, just like put her head down, just doing this. I was like, "I'm sorry." I didn't break anything, but I definitely hit the siding, I think. But it comes with the territory of living on a golf course.
The price you pay if you live on a fucking golf course. Yeah, like you chose to live on that golf course more than likely. It's like I highly doubt that the golf, that you built your house and then they put a golf course in. But you know.
So yeah, it's nothing new. Like it happens all the time. But yeah, luckily I've never hit a car or broken a window. Knock on wood.
Knock on windshields.
Knock on.
Okay, so we've already done technically the ad read.
Yeah.
Just remember to do Obsidian Ammonia unpaid. There was talks today that we have the potential to start mentioning a new sponsor. So tune in for that maybe next week or the week after. But there is something else coming. And it's a product we've talked about on the podcast before. It's one I'm interested in. It's one Keith uses quite often. I don't know if he wants to give you any more information than that, but
tune in next week.
Something else is in the works. Yeah, something else is in the works, guys. So let's get into unpaid and underrated. Now, normally I go last because we saved the controversial ones for me, but I think this time I'd like to go first.
Well, don't take any of my good ones, damn it.
Oh no! Okay, you know what? Then you go first.
You're good. It's
well, because normally I add a bunch during, but you've been doing that.
Well, it's just because I only had like 3 or 4 to start. Yeah. Usually I have like 5 or 6 already, and then like you'll add a couple and we'll cherry pick. But I didn't have my inbox was light on quality, overrated and underrated topics.
That's fine.
And the couple that we had. Couple of the good ones I wanted to cover, like yeah. When as soon as you mentioned cheese, I was like, "You son of a bitch!" That was going to be a underrated topics. So we always kind of play with
that. That was also one of mine. So,
but no, I don't. Yeah, I don't care. They're all topical.
Well, I mean, at least 2 of them can apply to me. So I'll do 2 and you do the rest.
Have it.
Yeah, all right.
No, I'm good.
So unpaid or underrated, deathcore.
Oh, underrated.
Hell yeah!
I mean, there are some bands that sound very similar. Every song sounds the same. But there's a lot of good bands out there that they just hit right. Like especially when you're going for a PR or something, you just want something heavy. Just they hit right. That's all, you know.
Yep.
It's
So
definitely underrated, I think.
my wife says that I listen to goblin music. We've talked about Will Ramos on the podcast before. You know who Will
Oh
Ramos?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that dude, like he does things that are just Mike Patton used to be, if you know who Mike Patton is, Faith No More, Fantomas, Tomahawk. He did the voices of the zombie things from that Will Smith movie, I Legend. I Legend.
I am legend.
I
I
am
am
Legend.
legend.
Yeah. Not I Robot, I am Legend. Because Mike Patton
That's good
can
stuff.
do like
I
Mike
was like,
Patton
wow, how did you get?
can
Yep.
do like insane voices. Will Ramos but Mike Patton
It's
had to use
insane.
like things. Will Ramos at like the drop of a hat can sound like a demon coming out of hell. And I've been spoiled by him because sometimes I listen to other goblin-y music and it's like not as good. There was one oh god, what was their name? It was like Swarm of Silence or something like that. They're fucking amazing.
Oh yeah. I've heard of them.
They're on here. I can go through this list. I think last week we talked about Jaluka, which is a Japanese
Yeah,
deathcore band, and
I
they
was gonna listen to them. I'm curious about them.
so the song is Black, but Blvck, and
Okay.
that would be a good one to like watch the video and get an introduction. Like the lyrics are shit, but they're decent, and they like include dubstep into their breakdowns,
Hmm.
which is kind of insane. But yeah, I'm with you on that one.
One of my favorite bands is Spite. I don't know if you've listened to them.
Nope.
Um, they are very angry. The vocals are just like they're different. It's hard to explain, but he doesn't. He has some like deep guttural stuff, but it's a lot of like higher pitched.
And wouldn't that be closer to metalcore?
No, I don't think so. Once you listen to it, I think you'll.
Okay. It's a what does Nick Nocturnal say that like metalcore is the blat and deathcore is the bree. And
Yeah.
if you've listened to either of those, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh
Keith
yeah.
is fucking right
I
confused.
also I also
He
do
said,
love a good
I
blast.
mean, I love
I,
spite is a motivating factor in my life, but it has nothing to do with the band.
I love a good blat.
The band is killer. They're one that I would kill to see right now. But yeah, Will Ramos, like his cover he did, I think with Nick Nocturnal,
Recreant.
Recreant.
Yep.
Oh God,
Right? I didn't even know it was a cover. And then I heard the original and then I was like, sorry, was
the
that
cover. Yeah,
Chelsea Grin, I think, did the
yeah,
first one,
Chelsea
right?
Grin.
And I heard the
Yep.
cover and I was like, sorry, Chelsea Grin, like that's his now.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's incredible.
One last one I want to put out there before I
Yeah,
ask you the next one. Have you heard of Netherwalker?
I have not.
Okay, so Netherwalker, from what I understand, is a Dungeons and Dragons based deathcore band. Uh-huh. Um, so this
I love
song,
that.
it's called Thine King Weeps for Mercy. Now, this song was released back in 2022, and there is a moment where the vocalist does what can be best described as the Predator clicks. And
Okay.
it's the last 40 seconds of the song. So if you have to fast forward it, but you won't. Like the rest of the song is really good. But the last 40 seconds of the song is where like the bridge comes in before that heavy breakdown, and he does that. And then in Vikings by Slaughter to Prevail, he does that alligator sound.
Yeah.
That's just a deeper guttural version of what Netherwalker did last year.
Okay.
So give that one a listen. It's called Thine King Weeps for Mercy. It's been on my playlist for a little while, but it's fucking wild. Like,
I'll have to give that a shot. Yeah, that sounds good.
okay, so you said underrated on that one. Keith looks so bored. Like,
Underrated.
No, there's so like get on the. I know Ryan's recording on his phone, so he doesn't have access to the.
are you dying
Crewcast
from
until,
that meme?
oh God, I just saw it at 9:59.
Oh, I can't wait to see this.
Big chat GPT post or big chat GPT posted a screenshot of you know a zoom in with your mustache because I posted a screenshot of the three of us, and then it's the
Skeletor.
Skeletor going sigh looking down at his dick and then unzipping his. Oh man, that was good. That was
I
really
saw that.
good.
I was like, "Fuck, you broke me in the middle of this podcast." Like, way to
I
go!
can't wait to see this. It's gonna be good.
And a quick follow up on that too is about an hour ago when I posted that, one of the hosts said, "Look at that stash. I hope he keeps it for the Lift Hard Lizzie Classic 2024." So, you kind of got called out. You might have to do
It'll
it.
be there.
Do it.
So Daminger and I, Chris, we already talked about doing mustaches for the next one, so
All right.
it'll be there.
It'll be there on meat day.
It'll be there on meat day.
That's twice you got that one today, bud. That's good.
All right, unpaid or underrated, Mr. Clean.
I mean, you gotta go underrated. He was the original,
The Jack Ball dude, the original Jack.
I can only strive to be that jacked and bald. I mean, I am that bald, but that jacked at least. So definitely, and he's clean. It's in his name, so I have to go underrated.
Now, maybe is there a Mandela effect happening here? Because I think we've experienced that on this podcast before. Did he used to have 2 earrings?
I don't recall.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about the earrings. Did he used to look younger though? That's my thing. Because he's like, I feel like he's aged now. Like he's got like a does he have like a gray beard and shit, or am I just imagining that?
Yeah, no, that one I haven't heard of.
No, I could have sworn like if I like see him on the paper towels and shit.
He's a cartoon, right?
Yeah. Well, that's why it's like, did they literally age the cartoon, or did they?
I mean, that'd be a good play. I mean, to age the cartoon, like go with the years. I mean, that'd be kind of smart.
I might be mistaken.
No, I don't. I've never seen him with a beard, but I want to say
not a beard, but I think he had a mustache. I could swear he had it's the mustache. Maybe it's the mustache.
Maybe I don't know.
No, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he used to have the 2 earrings back when earrings were masculine.
You might be right. I feel like that is at one point he had 2, but I'm not 100% sure.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna do one more, and I bet Keith is mad. I'm going to take this one.
No, do what you got to do, buddy.
Unpaid or underrated, Danny McBride.
Underrated.
And what about Adam? Like Adam played the guy that you were with most of the time, right?
Yeah, he played Kelvin. He was a cool dude. I mean, between takes, like we were mostly hanging around, Adam and the guy who plays Keith, Tony. They're between takes they'd talk with us mostly. Like sometimes Adam would have to go off and do something else, but super nice people. Danny McBride, like I didn't really get to talk to him a whole lot. But between takes, like I'd have people like I had my beard at the time, so they'd be like brushing it down, like putting sunscreen on me. Like I didn't do it. It was cool. I was like, man, this is luxurious. And then he'd be like kind of walking around, like he was like literally just like kind of hovering around me, like looking at everything. I was like, this is crazy. And then the shows he puts out though, I mean, Eastbound and Down is a classic. Vice Principals is,
I like that show.
I think that's a great one. Not a lot of people know about it, but it's only 2 seasons too, like as well, so it's not a super long show. You can go right through it, but it's hilarious. It's also filmed in Charleston, and then Righteous Gemstones is, it is what it is. It's great. He's just completely underrated. His comedic genius is, right up there.
I like all.
Did you
I like all 3 of those shows, but I think I like Vice Principals honestly like a hair better than the other 2.
That one I haven't heard of.
I think it's just like I think it's more realistic. It's just a hair more like they're all unrealistic as shit. But like I think Vice Principals is a hair more realistic maybe. But that's just because I have friends that are teachers and fucking just hate their job and hate the kids and all that, and that's kind of a theme of the show a little bit. So,
fun fact: when I was working at that Monza, that pizza place before I went to Mercedes, it was like some Sunday, and sure enough, like after a food and wine festival or something, some people walk in a group and go like a private room, like at the front, and no idea who it was at the time, and then one of the servers comes up. She's like, "Hey, can I get something for so and so?" I didn't hear the name. I was like, "What? Yeah, here you go." And then someone mentioned the name Danny McBride. I was like, "Holy shit! Like, he's here." He's like, "Yeah, he's in the back room over there." And sure enough, like, I made a pizza for him and all that, and like he ate it. And then I saw him walk across to go to the bathroom. I was hoping that he'd stop and say that was a great pizza, but he just kept walking. But yeah, it was really cool to see him in person there, and it's and he also lives here, so.
Now, now when he went to when you said he went to the bathroom, did he go take a shit in the garden out back? Or did he have to go to the toilet?
no, no, there was no garden out back, so it's not
All
an
right.
option.
You guys didn't grow your fresh vegetables in the back that you guys shit in. Okay, good stuff.
You gotta keep them fertilized.
I think I cut you off there, Joey. What were you saying earlier?
Nope. I was going to just ask if you got to work with John Goodman at all.
No, he was on the first filming day he was there, but they were doing a scene off to the side, so I got to see him and like didn't ever get to talk to him, but it was cool to see him in person. I wish I could have talked to him.
John Goodman's underrated as shit. Like I've
Yeah.
been watching him since like Roseanne and like the fucking like late '80s, early '90s. I feel like I've been aware of him for like the majority of my life. All right, well, it is my turn to bring us home here on these last three. The first one, I don't know what this means, but I know you were at a wedding, so I don't know if it is gonna if it's a South thing or if it's something that you wore at the wedding. What the hell is a seersucker suit, and do you find it unpaid or underrated? Did I even say that word right?
What
Yeah,
the hell is a
seersucker
seersucker suit?
Yeah.
It like without it's hard to describe exactly like,
probably just
but
Google it, huh?
if you Google it real quick, I mean it's a Southern staple. Like I mean it's the epitome of the South. Like, but I wore one to prom, I think twice, and it was complete. It was very ill fitting. Like it needed to be tailored, and like it was not. But I looked like a goon in it. But
I got you. Yeah, that would
the
be
suits
hard to describe.
themselves, they. I mean,
It's almost a Pee Wee Herman suit, damn near a little bit.
it's
Just
a
the ones I'm
they.
looking at.
Yeah, it's a little lighter in material, so like it's really good for like a hot summer day.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, I'm gonna have to go with underrated on that one as well.
Nice.
They're classy.
It's a good rating. All right, let's move into number two here. Jeeps. I know you like Jeeps, so well, not Jeeps.
As a Jeep owner, I'm gonna have to go unpaid. I love my Jeep. It's.
I was misled.
No, don't get me wrong. Like I love my Jeep I have. So I've got a '92 Wrangler. It's actually older than I am, but obviously this is just my personal experience with these. But yeah, I got so much work I'm still doing on it. Like it's definitely a project, but also a lot of other Jeep owners they think they have like the greatest car ever made. I'm just like, this is not. There are so many cars that are more capable off road than a Jeep, and like you're just over. It's unpaid, completely unpaid.
They just want to be part of the. They just want to be part of a club. Like the Jeep is a very like culty clique. I feel.
It is.
I was never into like the CJs or the XJs. I remember what was it? Because I had an '89 Cherokee, but is that called the XJ and the CJ is
Tennessee
the
XJ.
Wrangler? Yeah, so
The CJs are the Wrangler.
I miss the Cherokee style so much. Like they discontinued those in like '01, I think '02, and I think they brought them back. They're just goofy and fucking look all rounded off, and they're just not the Jeep. Like they're not the Jeeps I grew up with. Like there was like a 20-year span from like the early '80s to the early 2000s where like a Jeep Cherokee looked almost exactly the same, and they only changed like how round the turn signals were basically.
Right.
But goddamn, I missed that. That was my favorite vehicle of all time. But I was never a fan of like, I don't know, the soft top and like, how loud that would be as like just a functional, like as a second vehicle that's a toy. Sure. As a daily driver, that just seems fucking over. That just seems unpaid as a motherfucker.
That's what it is. Like mine is a toy, which let me say though, like compare like the newer Jeeps are definitely like unpaid. Like they're not really built that well. Like they look good, sure, but the older stuff like the YJs, the XJs, the CJs, even some TJ, like those are where the great engines are. Like everything is.
Well, the inline six, it's been around since like the fucking
Oh
30s or
yeah,
whatever. Like
that's what's in
that
mine.
motor,
It's
you'll never blow the motor. You'll fucking blow a transmission and everything else, but that motor's gonna last a
I
lifetime.
have that thing is a tank. I mean, it's a that's what I have, and it's a great engine. I love it, but everything else, I'm just like, oh god, it's just constant project work. But it's, I mean, I enjoy doing it here and there, but it's just
Nice.
it's expensive.
Yeah, that's it's got to be a more expensive hobby than powerlifting, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll round this out with my last one. This one might be the most elaborate one that comes with a good story. So I want to hear if this is unpaid or underrated. We're talking about hole 17 at TPC Sawgrass. I think like four people told me about this one. So
Oh
this is
God, why?
a well-known Ryan story.
I should have said this was off topic. I didn't even think this would come up.
So shitting in a garden was good, but this is off.
I
It's okay.
mean, anyone that knows like golf at all knows like the TPC Sawgrass, like the hole 17, the Island Green. You know, it's like one of the coolest holes in golf. And especially like, you know, it can test your metal. It's and that day playing, like I was teeing off incredibly, like I was hitting great drivers and everything. My irons were terrible, and so we get to 17. I didn't have any sort of confidence going into that. I was like, this is not going to go well. And I already had that mindset in my head, which is, you know, the mistake. But get up, tee it up, and it was like 135 yards. Get my club, and then I just chunk it like maybe 10 feet away from me into the water. I was like, oh god! And then sure enough, my brother, you know, instigated. He's like, oh, hit another one. So tossed me another ball. I was like, I don't want to, and so I was like, all right, put it down. Almost the same thing, just a little bit more right this time. And I was like, all right, I'll just go to the drop zone. He's like, no, hit another one. Like, throws me another ball. It's like, no, like, just let me go to the drop zone. And he's like, just hit it. I was like, okay, hit it again. Guess what happened? Water. So I was like, all right, I'm going to the drop zone, take it there, and then hit a little chip shot uh, onto the green. Actually, make it this time and make like a 10 on a par three. So that, you know, but all that being said, hole 17 is underrated.
Nice. So that's kind of your 10 cup moment then, huh? Except without the happy
Yes.
ending where he actually did land it, even though he
Yeah,
lost the round.
there was no happy ending on that course. I mean, getting to play the course was you know, incredible. But apart from that, like the actual game of golf that I played was dog shit.
Nice. Well, you passed, and that rounds out our 25th version of unpaid and underrated.
Excellent, man. That was stressful.
Is Happy Gilmore the best Adam Sandler movie? I know, hard hitting questions here on unpaid and underrated.
It's one of my favorites. I don't know if it's the best. Depends on who you ask, but
Well, if you ask Keith, the best one is that one where he played the sister and the brother,
Jack and Jill.
Jack and Jill or whatever. Because they just have like nobody has any faith in your movie ratings anymore.
That's bullshit because I've watched more movies than anybody else in the entire crew.
No,
so.
you've
you
recorded that
guys.
you've watched more movies than everybody else. I watch a fucking ton of movies, but I don't have a spreadsheet. I think what's interesting, it's yeah, you just when you do a rating, do you do it immediately after watching, or do you at least wait a day?
Typically, no, it's pretty much well. So in my defense, like I don't think I started IMBD until 2011.
Mhm.
So, but I'm my OCD. I'm a completionist. I can't do anything like in not. So I literally spent like weeks. I think like just in like a couple hours here and there, like a week, just free time, like looking up like basically I would like look up a list of like every movie that came out that year and kind of like be like, yep, I saw that movie. Let me go IMDb and rate it, and then like just continuously doing that to where I like was able to essentially, I would say I've rated like 97% of every movie or show I've ever seen, just because the handful that I didn't, I just have never come across on the app. So let's say half of those were rated like potential years after ever seeing them, and it's just all off of memory. But then everything from 2011 up to today, yeah, it would have been rated within like an hour a day of watching it. Like typically, pretty much now, I definitely just get out my phone as soon as I watch the movie and rate it. It's just like it's a tick that I have to do.
No, and that's fine. Like I'm not going to bring that into judgment. I just want to point out that humans actually don't, unless you have an eidetic memory, you don't actually remember the things that happened. You only remember the way you felt about them.
Yeah, and my rating, I guess, would be based off.
And that's just how our brains work. Like you don't remember the movie most of the time, especially the ones that you rated after seeing them. You just remember how you felt about them at the time. So I just wonder that if you're the ones that you rated after watching, like years later, or even days later, or months later, I wonder if they have a more genuine or accurate rating.
Hmm.
Whereas the ones that you rated immediately, you were still kind of riled up by what you saw. And I wonder if you're a negative person, are you watching a movie and pointing out the flaws, or are you watching a movie and pointing out the positives?
Yeah. And I look at it as like my ratings are how much I enjoyed the movie, not like I don't look at it as in unpaid and underrated of like what's the general opinion of
No,
everyone else. So,
and
like,
that's
it's
not what we
100%
want out of a
fine.
rating. Yeah,
So like,
absolutely.
and it's all very much like very few like almost nothing's. I think for the longest time I had a rule that nothing was a 10, and then I recently added like three or four things to my top like two and like a 10 out of 10, and even those I don't really feel they're 10 out of 10. I just they're above what I have at 9, and I just had to like separate them a little bit.
But that's because that's how you felt about them. That's
Yeah.
and that's interesting. It's like you've been getting a lot of flack for your ratings, and like I dude,
Oh, gee, yeah, frustratingly amount of it, you fuckers.
and I will tell you, I disagree with most of your ratings, but I understand them.
Yeah.
I've actually now I want to know, Nate, when you're listening to this, send me what did he rate There Will Be Blood?
I can tell you right now, but I would guess I gave it a 6 or a 7. But let me look it up.
And that would be the worst rating on the planet. That movie was minimum 9 or 10. That movie was amazing. And you know why I like that movie? Because there wasn't a lot of dialogue.
I don't know if I've seen that movie.
I didn't like it because I gave it a 6. So
Yeah,
I think I just
ridiculous.
A lot of times I'll judge a movie by the ending. I'm sure there was something in the ending where a main character died. Like if a main character dies, you're like losing 2 points just because I hate fucking like I hate an ending where I don't.
He bludgeons the preacher to death with a.
No.
Oh, he's frozen now. We got him so mad.
Oh.
We got him so mad that his radioactive Hulk stuff just like froze his internet.
No,
you were frozen for a second there.
I got my Wi-Fi adapter this week. I should be good.
You were frozen for a second there. Yeah. No, he bludgeons the preacher to death with the bowling pin at the end of the movie, and maybe that bothered you, but that dude deserved to die. Like yeah, that was
remember.
Nobody was the good guy in that movie. I will point that out, but yeah, that's just one of those things I was wondering. That you're getting a lot of flack for your ratings, and your ratings. I disagree with most of them, but people need to remember that like I have film critical training. Like I attended university classes, and we learned about things like how music and mise en scène and things like that contribute to how the movie is made and directed and written. So I would probably rate a movie differently than you would. And you're just like, I'm just watching this because I didn't like it or I did like it. That's what I'm rating it. So that's interesting because I watched some movie the other day that apparently everybody loves and I fucking hated it. And I was just like, I'm going to talk to Keith. All right.
What was that?
Oh God, I can't remember it. I think I paid money. Oh, the new Insidious, because I'm a horror movie guy, right? I watched Insidious: The Red Door. Like,
yeah, I think it had really bad ratings anyway.
Well, it should. It should definitely have bad ratings. If you're going to make a movie and it's a sequel, you should have watched the movies before it. And if you're writing the movie, you should at least try and write a movie that is in sequence to the other movies if it is a sequel. Instead, you write a movie that references the old movies but doesn't line up. So as somebody who loved the first 2 Insidious movies, this didn't line up. Nothing made sense. it's like the characters were the same name and the one demon looked the same. And that was like the only thing that actually, this movie wasn't scary. The other Insidious was scary as shit. This wasn't scary at all. So I was just like, bad rating. Can't believe I spent $6 on this shit.
That general concept is a big pet peeve of mine. More in TV shows, I guess, than movies. Yeah, I guess if it's a series of movies and they're when shit doesn't just correspond the way it should, but like it's bigger in TV shows because TV shows have different fucking writers and show directors and showrunners for like every other season. It seems like so they don't care about keeping like continuity of like, well, this person made this decision 2 years ago, but now they're completely doing something different. It doesn't line up, and it's like they just I don't know like that. Because I noticed so much like random shit and like even like sitcoms and stuff. I was like, God damn it, that does not like that wouldn't happen. What the fuck? That doesn't correlate with how that person acted 2 years ago. So they just like change shit just for the show itself.
And that's why X-Files is the best show of all time.
Because they keep more. They didn't change. You're saying
if X-Files if the season was 8 episodes long, 2 of those were storyline episodes. The rest were Monster of the Week. They would cycle those.
The one-offs are...
And you could air the Monster of the Week one at any time. As long as the same characters were playing, Dana and Scully, it didn't matter who else showed up. But then when the Smoking Man was involved or anything like that, those had continuity throughout the entire, 11 seasons until Mulder left. And then the show didn't make any sense. But anyway, hey, Ryan.
We just sabotaged 2-hour episode.
Yeah, we were like, under 2 hours,
Joey
let's go.
Are completely to blame. So,
what questions do you have for us, buddy? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You were so quiet that whole time, just listening to us, being like, listen to these fucking nerds talking about movie and TV.
You might have to go ahead and reintroduce yourself there, buddy. I think everyone forgot who you were.
Oh, yes. I am Chris Damager. Hello. All right, so I got a couple unpaid and underrateds for you guys. We already went through a couple of these things earlier, so I'm going to skip a few. But I do have the two that I got one for you, Joey, and one for you, Keith.
Okay,
all right. So I'll go ahead and go Joey first. All right, unpaid or underrated? The Assassin's Creed franchise.
Okay, I love Assassin's Creed. Okay, I have played every game to over 100%. I have just over there. I'm looking right now at one of the limited edition sweaters that was released for for Odyssey. Okay, it's just a hoodie. It's got a flat hood. You bring it up, it looks like this. Like I have loved the Assassin's Creed since the beginning. I still think it's a little overrated because Odyssey was gorgeous. The original in Origins, the one set in Africa and Egypt. Oh my, like they put out a version of that game where you could just walk around. There was no storyline. You just got to explore Egypt. How fucking cool was that? But then Valhalla came out, and I'm a Vikings guy. I liked the show Vikings, Warrior Norse Fitness. And that it was just so big of a game. You got like all of Europe, not all of Europe, all of the UK, some of Scotland, some of Ireland. You travel to Canada at some fucking point. Like it's nothing. That's my favorite part. She gets on a boat and then she's in Canada. And I'm like, no, that took weeks. Where is that? And then back to Norway. And like it got to the point where she wasn't even an assassin at that rate. And now with Mirage, I just beat Mirage. I just did 100% of the storyline in Mirage, and I'm going to go back and do some more of the side quests and stuff, because now with Mirage, you're back to the assassins with the missing finger and wearing the hood, and you climb the tower, and you follow the person, and you kill the person, and then you climb the tower, and you're back to that version of the game. There's minimal of the bullshit with the Animus, because the Animus introduced the game, it probably should have ended there. And like where you had that thing where you go like, what? You go in and out of the Animus, and you could be, what was that guy's name? He was a bitch. I hated him. Damien, maybe, I think his name was, whatever. I hated that dude. But
Yeah,
like,
I know who you're talking about.
but it never got there. And then the movie came out, and the movie was only based in modern times. Like, you didn't really do any. So, like, it is an overrated franchise, I think, with the idea that just the people that make it need to calm the fuck down and
Hmm.
remember the game you made. Remember the cool pathfinding with the parkour that you invented. Remember the cool animations of the assassins that you invented. Remember the idea that there are the hidden ones and there is the Templars and then there is the ancient ones. And then somehow, like in the now time, we can go back. Remember that and stop trying to make the biggest, most gorgeous game on the planet that glitches, is too expensive. How dare you charge me for DLCs when I bought the season's pass? Like, just calm down with that shit
Hmm.
and just make a game I want to play. And that's what they did with Mirage. So ultimately, overrated, but it is still one of my favorite things.
That's fair. Yeah, I loved them all up until like Black Flag was my favorite. Uh,
Hated Black Flag.
and then really,
I didn't like the ocean, the boat stuff.
that's when they introduced that in three, I think it was. I was like, all right, this is cool. And then they expanded on it. I was like, I love this. And I think it just added a whole new element. It just,
3 is my favorite. 3 with Connor in America, right?
mhm.
In Frontier America.
Yep.
That is when they added like um where he would walk differently in the snow versus out of the snow, right? And the
Hmm.
seasons would change based on when you were playing. And Connor was just so angry. That's what I loved about that game is Connor was just so mad. And then his dad was the guy from Black Flag, right?
Yeah.
Kedgwick, Ken Edge something.
Kenway.
Kenway,
And
yep.
but yeah, no, like, and then once they started changing the combat style, that's when I kind of really just fell out of it. I was like, I don't like the way, it's like more RPG now. It's like
Mhm.
it's not it. I don't know. The old combat style was so much better, in which that's with Mirage coming out, or now that it's out, I was like, it intrigues me more. It's like I didn't enjoy. Played a little bit about how I didn't enjoy it. I did enjoy Odyssey enough to finish it, but ever since Black Flag, that's kind of the only two that I've really like, got tried to play, and
Yep.
just
Mirage Mirage will bring you back. Mirage will remind you
okay.
again, this is why I liked this game. You blend in with the crowd, you kill somebody and you throw a
Hmm.
smoke bomb and then you run away. Like it will remind you. I think somebody went in there into their like meeting room and was just like, we have fucked up. We got too big. Bring it in. And
Hmm.
that's where
Yep.
Mirage, I think, finally stepped up. Even after finishing it, there's some glitches, there's some like, but it's just all games. It's all Assassin's Creed where like you go to talk to the blacksmith and you can't talk to the blacksmith because for some reason they just, you're not in the right exact, like that kind of shit.
Right.
But from a storyline perspective, Mirage brought me back.
All right. Cool. That's
I
good
even,
to hear.
I was almost going to go and be an assassin this year and go and buy the entire costume because I was like, no, this refreshed my love of this game.
Nice. Excellent. Well, now I got one for you, Big Keith.
Let's have it, buddy.
Unpaid or underrated DeWalt tools.
DeWalt tools. Ooh. So I have a ton of DeWalt tools. I've been a DeWalt guy for shit the last 15 years probably. But Milwaukee makes fucking slightly better stuff potentially. But DeWalt tools. That's tough, man. That's a close one. That's I'm not allowed to ride the line, so I really got to think. So let me factor in the general public's opinion. I was saying, well, what is the general public? Like, is Milwaukee edging like has Milwaukee edged out DeWalt the last couple of years in general? Like, is that the consensus, or is DeWalt still king? Like, I think Milwaukee has edged them out just because they have the pack out now, and people just want to have they want their entire truck to be fucking one brand. So to have pack
Hmm.
out, you're gonna buy all the Milwaukee shit, the power tools also. So
I'm a Milwaukee guy myself, but I mean DeWalt is, they're a pretty big name, so like I. It's tough to say.
Oh fuck. As I will probably only own DeWalt tools the rest of my life because I'm so invested. Like I think 10 years ago, I bought when they finally got rid of NiCad, the 18 volt NiCad, and went with the 20 volt lithium shit. I got on that train, and I've just expanded the arsenal ever since. But like some of the stuff Milwaukee does is better. But like I have a Milwaukee fan at work and a DeWalt fan. The DeWalt fan's like significantly better because the
Hmm.
fucking it's just there's little like I've used enough of both brands. There's like some tools suck in this brand and some tools suck in that brand. But overall, is DeWalt unpaid underrated? I think it's got to be unpaid just because it's so highly rated and it's not that much better than the other top tier brands, or or it's not actually better than them at all. It's like maybe in second or third place. So yeah, as much as it pains me because I'll only probably have thousands of dollars invested in DeWalt, they might be a little unpaid. Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
that hurt too. Like
Yeah, I was,
Yeah, that answer was much shorter than mine.
yeah.
He didn't go through the entire history of DeWalt.
I could just keep going back and forth because like when you factor in the general public's opinion, I guess. I don't know.
Well, what you failed to mention that it's actually pronounced Milwaukee.
okay. Yeah,
That's a
well,
Wayne's World. That's a Wayne's World reference that I'm sure Big Jen caught immediately.
Dude, I just I've like I don't love Wayne's World. I think it's okay, but one thing I never realized until like I was something I can't remember something in Discord where someone mentioned it. I didn't realize, or no, it was a different podcast. It was actually on Let's Get Stupid. I think they mentioned it, I believe, but I didn't know the fucking Garth was Dana Carvey, or what? Which the blonde one was fucking Dana
Yeah,
Carvey.
that's
I
Dana
just, I
Kirby.
just, I just assumed
mhm.
because like I know like Dana Carvey. I know from like SNL and like Chopping Broccoli.
Yeah,
Like that was just a really popular song, like a parody song when I was a kid or like a young adult or whatever. So like I didn't like Dana Carvey, like the actual actor, him. Like I didn't realize that that was the fucking, you know, the character in
yeah.
that.
We talked about it in Discord.
Yeah, so that's what pointed out, and I was like, "Wait, that's Dana Carvey? There's no fucking way!" And then I'm like, I didn't go look it up, but I just like closed my eyes and kind of was like, "Fuck, that is Dana Carvey! God damn it! Like, how did I not?" Because like like it's just I hate not
That
knowing shit.
that's the
So like
master
when
of disguise himself.
yeah, that one really threw me off because I think there was
The master
yeah
of
because there was like
disguise.
yeah
God, I'm so full of such useless fucking references.
mm,
And it's
someone
like,
post
good.
was it was it Oldham maybe that posted the meme this week of getting Michael Myers and Mike Myers confused
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
so there was a lot yeah so I actually think I had three different instances where either Mike Myers, Wayne World, or Dana Carvey came up, and it just kind of all culminated in me realizing that I didn't know Dana Carvey was that character. And it's like, fuck, how did I know that?
That's really funny.
And now I'll probably like see it like three other times in the next couple of months somehow and just be like, oh, how did I not know that? And that's all I could see now.
All right. Well, I got one FMK for you guys.
Ooh.
So we're all, gamers here. All right. So FMK, Xbox, PlayStation, and PC.
So I will kill PC because I don't think
Mhm.
I haven't played a video game on PC since like Wolfenstein 3D in like
Same.
1994.
Same.
I know there's people out there that do like mad PC stuff because you can like build a PC to be quicker and faster and better if you put enough thousands of dollars into it than you can a PS5 and Xbox, but that's not my scene. I'll fuck Xbox, I guess. I've only ever played an Xbox a handful of times. I don't like the controller. My fucking hands are too small for it. So, but it's still better than PC in my book. And then yeah, PS5. I've been a Sony. I've owned every iteration of the Sony video game console. PS1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I will honestly, I'll be like 60 years old playing fucking PS11. So kind of is that's where I'm at. So I'm gonna marry PS5. If I didn't say that.
Exact same answer. I don't do any PC gaming. I do more mobile gaming than anything. And mobile gaming is a weird thing in our society where people are like, I'm not spending games on no cell phone video game. Now you'll go drop $90 on a console or PC game, but your Emoji Blitz game from Disney asks you for $10 and you're like, how dare you? Like, do you remember when Mario Run came out and like you only had like the first level and you had to spend $15 to buy the whole game? And people lost their shit, but it's just because we have this weird cultural thing where we don't spend money on our cell phones. They're the most important thing in your life. And I would ask you right now, if I gave you $100 right now, would you give me your phone for 3 days? No, you fucking wouldn't.
Mhm.
But people are they don't want to spend money on their cell phone because they just think this shit is free. So that's an interesting point because I would actually throw mobile in there. And if you had thrown mobile over PC, my answer would be different.
Okay.
But I was Xbox for years. I had an Xbox. I think the second generation, and I had an Xbox One. But it wasn't until God of War I had to switch because I played all of the God of Wars on my roommate's PlayStation. And I loved God of War. And then I didn't have a roommate. I had a family. And I was like, well, fuck. Can I get Assassin's Creed and God of War on PlayStation 4? Yes, I can. Then I guess I'm getting a PlayStation. And then I got a PS5 the next round because I guess I'm just going to be PS forever. Spider-Man, Xbox, or Spider-Man,
right there.
Yep, Assassin's Creed, and God of War. They're all just better on PlayStation. So it's going to be the exact same answer as Keith.
Nice. Great minds think alike.
Fair enough. Which also, the new Spider-Man 2 game is coming out tomorrow, so we'll be playing that.
I'm going to wait. I just spent $60 on Assassin's Creed. It is the month of October. For Black Friday, Spider-Man will probably go 50% off. Or
probably not wrong.
I'm going to get bored as fuck and download it anyway and pay full price plus Seasons Pass because I'm a monster who just really likes the Spider-Man game.
You can always add it to your Christmas wish list. It's that time of the year where I got to start like looking around for like, all right, what's a couple $50, $60 presents I can buy or I can like add to my wish list to like get as gifts.
No, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it? So what you got for us?
That's all I got.
Love it. Great
That
stuff.
Is great.
It had me go off for a few minutes there on Assassin's Creed. Somebody's going to disagree with me, but it is what it is.
I like Valhalla better, but that's just because I never loved the assassin aspect. I found it to be too slow, and I wasn't good enough at playing video games to be efficient at it. So me not being a good video game player, give me the open world, and I think I've only even actually completed like story mode at like 30% on Valhalla, and I didn't even know there was a new one. And I'll probably won't get back to the one that I have collecting dust in my entertainment center as is. But
Valhalla was so fucking boring, man. Like,
yeah, it
like
was
the open world aspect. It's needed to be.
It is open. Then play Origins, because at least then you're getting like the introduction to the assassins. Whereas with Valhalla, she's just like, I played as she's not even an assassin.
That was when you could pick like which route you went, right? Because I definitely would pick to do
Odyssey and Valhalla. You could pick.
All right, makes sense.
Yeah, it just wasn't my game.
Yeah, I played it and I played the crap out of it, and then essentially like it was just like every season had a DLC, and then they released this other DLC, and then they released this one and this one and this one, and it just got to the point where I was like, I don't want to do this anymore, and I can't keep grinding to try and make her powerful enough to like play the game because I don't want to just go raiding all the time. So it was a Viking video game. It wasn't an Assassin's Creed video game for me. Maybe the marketing is what bothered me. I don't know, but
yeah,
I'm so bored of that game.
None of those like really came across, like especially that one. It just didn't like. It didn't have the Assassin's Creed feel. It was just a Viking video game. Like,
yeah, it did not further the Hidden Ones Templar War in any way.
Which, if that's what they marketed, that's fine. Like that, it would have been a cool game, but it's not Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
But
all right, want to wrap this up? Let's wrap this up. 2.5 hours, guys. We did it. We did 2.5 hours. We didn't go to 3 this time.
If we can sign off in
I'm gonna
like 90 seconds, we should be good.
Well,
I'll be so tired tomorrow morning.
Yeah, me too. It's the first day I don't have to be up at 6, and I'll be up at 6:30. You can find me at Joey_Malesko at MalisiZKO. You can find us on Obsidian Ammonia. Use the code unpaid. I just got a referral order while we were talking.
Oh, nice.
I just got an update. Yeah. It puts our profile up to 6. Well, my profile up to 16th. But ever since launching the unpaid, I have noticed you guys are using it. Pumpkin spice lobotomy seems to be the most popular thing you're buying at the moment. Keep it up. It's a great product. Save yourself some money on it and use our code. That is fantastic of you. But who cares about that? Just follow unpaidinternpodcast.com and the Instagram for us, where Keith posts reels, is
Sometimes.
Unpaid and Underrated Podcast. Keith, where can we find you? Ryan, where can we find you?
Big Keith. Keith Honeygut 73 on Instagram, and go follow my Orange Jim, the No Wine Cellar.
And you can follow me at Jacked and Ginger on Instagram.
Now, the only thing I got to point out, your mustache is amazing. Your mustache is fantastic. I know Matt really wanted to be here to talk to you about having a mustache, because I know he had one at the Live Hard, Live Easy. So we did reach out to Matt again, and he just bailed on us again. So Matt,
classic.
Yeah, come on, Matt, get on your Mostly Squat videos. We're waiting for you. Keith, see us out.
See you next Tuesday, boys.